All right, hello everyone. We've had some minor delays, but now we are finally here. We are going to begin our casting of the Stimhack League 2 finals from the UK live. Okay, so this Stimhack League was a 4-week league that was played out on Jiteki.net. We had 46 participants from the UK, a huge turnout, and we've decided that the top 4 finishers will make it to the final cut tonight, which will be played out in the standard double elimination format. So let's introduce our players. In 4th seed, we have Vapo Neil from Birmingham. Top 8 regional this year, which was pretty good, and apparently loves Wayland so much, he's bringing Blue Sun today, our only non-NBN player of the day.
So I don't know how well you know Neil, Ben, but for all the time that I've known him, he has never stopped playing Blue Sun. He was an honorary part of Team Sheffield at Quinn's first intercity friendly, where he was our Wayland player, and I think he's been playing Blue Sun for as long as that ID has been printed.
Yeah, I discovered that when I had to face against him in the cut at Reading Regionals. Turns out he doesn't play Kill Blue Sun. As with his Reading Regionals deck, he's playing Rig Shooter Blue Sun. That should be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Neil, really likes to make his life harder by not only playing Wayland, but by really never playing Kill. I don't think I've ever seen him put a Scorched Earth in a deck of his.
And that's fair. I mean, Kill works better in yellow, right? Alright, moving on to Seed 3. But first, before we introduce our next player, we should introduce who's actually on comms. With me here is the presenter of the new Amazon hit, the Grand Tour.
Are you recording now?
Hi, Rich. Who's that? Oh yeah, that's Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
So what? You're like live on stream now. Should I like? Should I go in the other room? Or is that? Oh, okay. Love the channel, Ben.
Chris, you never fail to entertain. So yes, we have Richard here. Hi, Rich.
Hi, Ben. Hello, everyone.
And we have the admin, the organizer of this tournament. That's Kathy. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Ben.
All right. All right. And third seed we have Sam. Yep, Sam, known as Cesadia from Coventry, and his cute little pet rat that he always brings to tournaments. That's the rat that you see in the screen right here.
Oh dear. You guys still there?
Yeah.
Yes, still
Okay,
here.
good. It went very quiet.
Yeah. I was trying to check. I hope that the audio issues have resolved. That's All right. So that's Sam Burdock. He's third seed and he plays some really unique decks. He's gonna play Andy and Soul today, so that should be quite interesting. In second seed. Oh, yep. Go ahead.
So I was just to say, I've played. So the last time I played Sam was at Stockport Regionals, where he was King of Swiss with Professor. We had a 48-minute long Professor versus Spark Agency deck game, which was like the best game of Netrunner I've played in a long time. Sam's a really good player.
Yep, and his decks are always entertaining, so we should expect a lot of good stuff coming from him. Ooh, okay. Kathy and Rich, would you like to speak to your mics?
Testing.
Okay,
Hello.
I think this should be better. Let's do that. Okay.
I'm very good at saying things when we record on One Last Click. Chris tells you to say something and you have to keep talking to test the microphone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I tested the mics just now it was fine, but well,
Yeah.
hopefully it's better now.
So maybe I should just keep talking as well to see what my
Yes, that would be great.
levels are like. I don't really have an awful lot of useful stuff to say, but I can talk for a long time without being interrupted.
It's yeah, you can do that radio show game where you have to talk without being interrupted. All right. In second seed we have Theo from London. Theo is probably one of the best UK players around. If he went to Worlds, he probably would have won it all. He beat Chris and myself, finishing higher in nets than we did. So, uh, that's something.
I can say something about Theo, who's been late to almost every tournament I've ever been to with him.
Including this one, is he around?
He is on the bus. He is. Oh, let me see. There's something in the Slack. He is on. Yes, he is on his way.
And yes, for those non-UK players, Theo managed to somehow find a breaking news in his runner deck at Nationals this year, and that's what caused him to knock out of the tournament in 4th place. That was a really unfortunate incident. Alright, and in our first seed we have, surprise surprise, we have a Dave, Katsushika. Daves are overpowered as we know them, and this one's no exception. Coming in top in the league itself. We'll see if he can maintain that title today. From Preston, and seems to get very lucky with his games. Good HQ accesses, good side games. Woohoo!
Yeah, I have a Dave story from this year's Entity Friendly where I was playing Rushy, Building a Better World against his Sonny because we were both drew the short straw when it came to the factions that we were playing. I had him beat on board. He had 1 click left. He went and just checked the top of my R&D and found the government takeover for the win. So yeah, he's a guy who's got some luck and some skill on his side.
All right. Alright, so that does it for the player intros. Let's see if the tournament's about to start. Okay, so is everyone ready to begin?
Yep.
Alright. Let's begin our first match. We have Vapor in 4th seed versus Katsushika, who is it? Dave in 1st seed, and Dave has chosen to co-op against Neil's runner. Do note that they were aware of their opponent's IDs and got to choose based on that beforehand. So we have with us here Hopscotch versus Val. So Rich, why don't you tell us a bit about both decks?
Okay, so Neil's Val is probably a fairly standard en passant blackmail Val list that you might have seen doing the round. So Neil's game plan is going to involve using DDoS and en passant to destroy ice, protecting Dave's critical centrals, and then use keyholes and mediums to just try and steal the win in 1 or 2 turns. Dave is playing a really interesting shutdown scoring harpsichord, which is the deck he brought to Charity Gift this year and did fairly well with, I think. It looks a lot like a kill harps, but instead of trying to kill you, what it's trying to do is shut down combo for a large Beal after having already scored a QPM or some breaking news as in a traditional fashion. So it's going to race you like it is doing here. Dave just hammering out 2 agendas and making Neil pick one.
Yeah, doing the double install game. That is pretty strong, and Neil guessed wrongly, so he got the QPM while Dave got away with the 2-point view. Big stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And so now Dave is just going to try and race himself to 4 points and then shut down for the winning score. So it's a tough spot for Neil to be in because he's got to keep up with Dave's scoring, but also not give him the opportunity once he gets within shutdown range to win in 1 turn.
Yeah, the problem is Neil is probably unaware that Dave is not on kill. There are no kill cards in Dave's deck, so he might be tempted to just dig for Plascrete or some kill defense, which is probably not going to end up very well.
Yeah, and So Neil has a rumor mill in hand, which is good tech against this kind of shutdown combo deck. But the problem with playing against Harps is that Harps can just stick two agendas out and make you steal one of them and then score the other one to blow up your rumor mill.
Ooh, very, very brutal turn there. Oh man, en
Yeah.
passant. Blackmail en passant and rerun. Stealing a market research and trashing a Jackson. That's absolute worst. Didn't even hit the
Yeah,
Exploder Palooza for 5 credits. This is awful.
Yeah, this is exactly what this on-pass Val wants to do. It can be incredibly aggressive early. And, Neil's had a great run of draws. He's got another on-pass,
Oh
another
gosh.
blackmail in hand. Like, really, he's like a 10-card deck, which is just blackmails and on-passants at the moment.
Yeah, and Dave hasn't had the best of draws. You saw he was very agenda flooded. 4 agendas early on, couldn't do much about it.
Yeah, and Dave would love like a Sensi or a Jackson to kind of flush through his hand, but you can see that he's also got a Jackson in his bin, which Vapo's trashed out of HQ. So yeah, he's in a tough spot here. I think he might struggle to recover from this early aggression.
Yeah, but as Vapor, it gets a bit awkward. He has all the blackmails and cutlery, lots of events in hand, but none that he really wants to play. Gets the rumor mill down. That should help with if any Jacksons come up.
Yeah, that's going to force Dave to either find a breaking news to blow it up, or put out a pair of agendas and let Neil take one and then score the other one. Oh, and look, Dave just cannot do anything apart from draw agendas this game.
Yeah, and if he had an end run to jam an agenda behind that, it'd be fine. But he spent the quandary on one of his centrals, so that's a problem. And en passant again, he's gonna get hammered so hard. Dirty Laundry comes in.
Yeah, this game could be over right here. I mean, although that's quite an unlucky Dirty Laundry to 3 agenda hand and missing. Oh, my word.
3 and 5 missed thrice. That's huge. I think he puts the good number on HQ here. He can't afford to let him hammer HQ.
Yeah, absolutely. It defends the QPM as well. It's going to give him a little bit more kind of safety against Neil's aggression. And you have to wonder whether Neil is thinking, well, doesn't look like there's much in hand here. I've run twice, I've missed twice, and he's out of ways to blow that ice up. So maybe kind of Dave has held off just long enough to give himself some breathing room.
Ooh, big plays. Going to go for the double agenda. Astro is one,
Yep.
QPM's another. Yep. Will he guess correctly? This could be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is.
Oh, he hits the Astro.
Yeah.
Oh, that's huge. Alright, so that puts Vapor at match point. 5 points. Hitting the Palooza from hand wins him the game. And Dave gets a measly QPM for his efforts.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, Neil's going to see the QPM and presumably Dave. Oh, gee, wizard.
Oh.
I think Dave might have drawn. So that's what 8 agendas off the top of off the top 17 cards. That's some really unfortunate distribution. I mean,
how many agendas is he running?
12, I think. So that's 3/4 of his agenda suite in the top quarter of his deck.
Yeah, that's such a bummer.
Yeah, so there's a same old Anna DDoS for Neil, which is going to set up a pop DDoS, run through your HQ ice, en passant it with the same old thing, and then just keep going. And yeah, so Dave now up to 10 agendas, having drawn that 15 minutes.
Dave needs to draw here. He needs to draw for an ice. He knows he's going to get hammered if he doesn't. He has to draw.
Yeah.
Oh no, he takes money instead. Well, I think this could be over, folks. Unless he hits the 15 minutes from hand.
It's the 15 minutes, yeah, absolutely.
Or he could now go for the medium.
Oh, that's it. We're like, now that he's drawn the medium, is Neil going to be tempted to think, well, the rest of the win is going to be in R&D? I mean, he's already seen a lot of agendas. You'd have to assume that Dave isn't sitting on 3 more in hand.
Yeah, I mean, I would just slap down the medium and go for it. You have the en passant on a stick with same old thing. Might as well.
Yeah, that's what I'd do in this situation as well. I mean, I'd be thinking medium is going to win me the rest of this game because it's just going to force Dave to draw for ice to protect his R&D. But yeah, I mean, Dave might just be kind of drawing all his agendas might be the thing which gives him some breathing room.
Yeah, perhaps. Oh my gosh! Wow!
So
That's
I think Dave has one agenda left in his deck now, if I'm counting correctly.
so Dave is basically gambling here. There's a bill on the table. If he hits the
Yep.
bill, I concede.
Yep.
If he doesn't, I go to 6 points. I might have a shot because I'm on match point. This is rough.
Yes.
Oh, I think that's a bill. That's game.
Yep.
Oh man, what an anticlimactic finish. What a bummer.
Oh, that's a real shame for Dave. Yeah, I mean, I said that Dave had some luck. Obviously, it ran out in this game because that's some real unfortunate drawing for him.
Turns out shutdown decks just don't do well on Stimhack League streams. Who knew?
Yeah, who knew? The
What a
pro
pity.
tip for the next season: just don't play a shutdown deck in the finals.
Yeah, that works. Would you like to hop into Theo versus Sam's game? It's still underway.
Yeah, we absolutely should. So
That was way too quick. So this is second seed versus third seed. Barcode is Theo. He's second seed and he chose to play Wizard against Sam Susadia in third seed. This is Wizard versus Soul. Alright. This Wizard is basically Hate Bear pretty much. We see there's an account siphon. Theo has 2 tags and has Obella set up. On Susadia's side, he's playing a glaciary kind of Soul. We see a Swordsman. I believe that was used to snipe some fouls. There are all 3 fouls in the bin. Goodness me. This is... Oh wow. That inject just milled 2 fouls. This is...
Oh wow.
Oh, yep, all the fouls are in the bin. This should make for
and
some...
all the
deja
deja
vus.
vus as well.
Oh wow. This...
So unless Theo has the same old thing, he may not have any breakers left.
He does run the same old thing, but you really don't want to use same old thing when it should be used for Siphon. So yeah, Sam might be getting a lucky break here.
Also, Sam has a scored Astro, which is not to be sniffed at.
Oh man, that's... Yep, I believe he is running Exchange in his deck, so that's something he can
Yes.
leverage.
Yeah, Sam's deck is slightly strange. It has a lot of the tag punishment tools you'd expect to see in an NBN deck, but no dedicated tagging event. So no hard-hitting news, no C-source. He's just relying on passive tags from his ice. So he's got the standard news hounds from Sol, and then the ability to generate instant tags with breaking news.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out, but I'm not sure about this play here. Theo goes for an R&D run, does not pop the DDoS and gets hit with a news hound.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because there was no current in play at that time, Theo was able to sneak in and steal a Bew. But now, because he stole the Bew, it triggered Sol's ability, so now there is a current in play, it's scarcity of
Yep.
resources. Probably won't do too much, I think, given that...
No,
Yep.
Yeah, that Siphon Wizard deck is obviously set up specifically not to run a huge amount of resources. And it might trap his Hades shard in his hand unless he finds a way to get into archives, drop it for free, and then immediately use it on a R&D run.
Yep, it should be noted that if you install Hades Shard from an Archives run with Scarcity in play, you don't pay the extra 2 credits.
Yeah.
So that's something that Theo might look to do, but Archives is double ice, goodness. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
So-
Theo's also got Rumour Mill in hand if he really needs to shift that.
That is true.
But the downside, of course, is that newshounds don't care whose current it is. They only care that there's one in play. So
Yeah,
those newshounds are now going to have end the run subs for the rest of the game.
pretty much, unless Theo has an employee strike. And
Yeah.
very good observation. Rumor Mill usually is used to turn off targeted marketing rather than Scarcity in this deck because you're more worried about Tama for Siphon or Faust in this case. So Sadia did a bit of a questionable play there. With Archives Ice, he actually had to pay 1 credit to install the Ice, which means he can't select Gift this turn. He started his turn 1 credit, so he can't play Gift, which is a problem. Forced to discard one of his cards, that's not good. Oh, no, he put CVS on HQ, that's fine.
Yeah. Though, like with double medium, would you not be tempted to CVS R&D just for the free trigger?
I would tend to agree. I think he's using this more to masquerade the upgrade as a
As a
Chrysium.
Chrysium, yeah.
which seems reasonable given that he has retrieval run and same old thing available right now to get the Faust.
And so with the same, all right. So Theo's got a same old thing in hand, and he's got some cutlery in hand. So he could just same old thing, Deja for his Faust back, eat that news hound with his knifed, and then start with his
Forked. Yep.
forked, and then start just double medium digging through R&D.
Yes. If I were in Theo's shoes, I would make that a huge priority because aside from Faust, his only other breakers are Paperclip and is it Black Orchestra?
Yes, he doesn't have a real answer to a Strength Force entry.
Yep. So definitely high on the priority list is killing Newshound. So.
And yeah, there we go. Same old thing for Deja Vu, and I assume that's fetching Faust for the install. Yeah.
Yep. So he can't play the fork this turn, but if Sasadia is aware of this, he should re-ice R&D as soon as he can.
Yeah. And would you assume that that little engine goes over the top of the
Depends on what he draws here.
He's just drawn a Raven, which will
Yep, little engine. I think that's a good call because he hasn't shown David, and little engines are very very expensive ice to break with his cards right now.
Sure, but at the same time, Raven would have protected the data hound, the news hound, because with them both being sentries, the forked would eat the Raven and leave the news hound standing.
Yeah, Theo is tag floating right now, so he has no need to break the Raven subroutine. He'll be happy to let it fire.
True.
So yeah, I think Sam made a good call there. The Ravens are mostly dead at this point. He does not run psychographic, so 3 tags is more than enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jackson Howard is in play. This is vulnerable to rumor mill. That's something that Sam has to keep in mind. Ooh, Data Ward. Okay, that's huge. So this Glacier deck is really gonna grind out Theo's stack. It should be noted that Hate Bear does not run Levy. Theo's not running Levy. So once he's out of cards, he's locked out completely. Unless he's able to destroy the ice.
Theo already down to 11 cards in stack, 8 in hand. A Data Ward is going to eat 4 or 5 of those every time he runs through it.
How many Davids does Theo
2
run? 2. But yeah, David's not good against Data Ward as 4-star, so he probably wants to break it with Paperclip, and that means getting a successful Siphon. We'll see if he can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, does he run Mimic?
Yes, Theo is the only player who has a Mimic.
Good for him! That Swordsman on HQ would be death otherwise. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so in Sam's favor here, when we were looking at the deck lists, all 3 of his opponents are all on Anarch. They're all on AI breakers, and Theo is the only person who has a Mimic out of all of their deck lists.
And funny enough, I think Sam is not the only one packing Swordsman today. We should see some fireworks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, Rebirth comes up here. What would you rebirth into? That's a tough call, actually. It might actually be Quetzal if you're expecting Data Ward, because you can bust through
with Wad David to get all.
Yes, I'm thinking that.
I mean, another option is that if Theo's thinking about his Mimic, he could switch into Null for Mimic to get through news hounds.
Oh yeah, that's a genius idea. I like that. Yeah. So you pay 1 card instead of 2.
And 1 credit to get through. Yeah.
Yep,
because
instead
you
of
don't
2
care
cards.
about the tags.
Yes, and every card matters. Yes, that sounds very reasonable. Getting through the vanilla here. What's in the server?
The Sansan, I think. Yeah.
Gotta trash it.
Yeah, gotta trash it.
These wizard very very poor. Still has a Siphon in hand, but no Mimic yet. Is it in the bin?
Yeah.
Nope. Somewhere in the stack.
Somewhere in that top 9. Yeah.
Oh, double Sansan. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt real bad.
Yeah. And as Theo, you've got to feel pressured into checking.
Yes, exactly. I'd be inclined to agree with you there. I think Theo might.
There's the Mimic.
He might just have to fork the news hound on the remote at this point. I think this is a very good scoring window for Sam. It looks like one, so Theo might have to go for the fork here.
Yeah, and that's a real shame for him if he has to use his fork to kill the data hound, news hound. Sorry.
Yeah, the news
hound. He's essentially giving up on that R&D pressure with those 6 credits he spent on those 2 mediums, which have a combined 1 counter between them.
Oh nope, he doesn't bite. Doesn't bite. So Sam gets to score the B. I'm pretty sure he'll
Yep.
do that now. Do you switch the current to Tama? That's a very interesting question.
Yeah, well, the scarcity's not doing anything, and I'm sure that there's something like just naming Siphon might be the best protection he could come up with, assuming Sam knows what Theo's about.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree. And yes, he does it. No respect for the rumor mill in Theo's hand. Going for the Tama. It has to be Siphon here. What else could it be?
I don't. Yeah, I'd pick Siphon here, knowing what I would assume that Theo's deck is doing.
Fork could be good as well.
Yeah. In fact, yeah, Theo's shown a Siphon. There's one in his discard. So, yeah, Sam, I think, will name Siphon here unless there's something really specific he wants to protect himself against.
Honestly, I don't think Siphon's a good call because he's only on 3 credits and he can dump them into the CBS on HQ. I don't think Siphon is necessary right now, but he goes for it. It will probably defend him further down the road, so I can see it being useful.
Yeah.
Now the ball's in Theo's park. This is gonna be really hard. What's his plan here? R&D? Contest the Sansan?
Yeah, so I think he has to contest the Sansan because I think he can't realistically go and check Sam's hand. If Sam is holding breaking news plus any other 3/1 or is holding a global food, he can pressure through that Sansan server and win that way. So Theo has to think if Sam has the win in hand in terms of agendas, he can't go into his hand to go and get them, so he has to kill the Sansan to stop them being scored.
Yeah, but breaking news can be scored regardless of whether there's a Sansan or not, and the EOI is live. Theo has to assume that EOI is a thing in Sam's deck, even though Sam hasn't drawn it. He might just go all in on R&D here, especially since he's installed double medium. So I'm expecting that. Probably the fork on R&D. I think that makes the most sense. We'll see if that pays off. I think right now he is super worried about, say, a resistor that would cost him way too many cards to perform the fork.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is actually... Yep, okay, he goes for it, hoping it's not a resistor. That's probably the worst case. Nope, okay, that's a blank. So, 3 cards for Newtown. Hades Shot, Obelus, and Red Run. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Gonna see 2 cards. Breaking news. Okay, that's something that Theo really wants to see. Breaking news means he probably diffuses EOI for a while here. What he doesn't know is that there are 2 more in Sam's deck. Sam's HQ rather. So, yep, that's pretty rough. And I think from this point on, Theo just goes all in. Just runs R&D 3 more times. Seems like the way to go.
Now, I can't remember, but I think that Sam might also be packing QPMs.
Ooh, spicy.
Let me just check, because I have got his deck list up.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of whether he's packing QPMs or not, Theo has no choice. At this point, yeah, he's committed. I mean, he has no other option, so he'll run regardless. And if he feeds the QPMs, well, Sam will have an easier road to victory. If Theo finds a QPM, I don't think there's a QPM in his deck, but if there is...
There isn't. I've just checked.
Okay. But if Sam gets up to 5 points, he can potentially just win next turn by scoring both breaking users in 1 turn. On the Sansan. So, well, no QPMs, that's not going to happen. What's going to happen though is that R&D is going to get rummaged through. We'll see if a food and an EOI comes up. Okay. So, 1 global food away from victory. Theo might just steal this win right here. So what's the agenda suite? I believe it's 3 food.
3 food is all that's left.
So he access how many cards? 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. One of which is the Bew. So
gonna see
5 and then So he's gonna see about more than a third of his R&D actually. So there's a very good chance of that food being in there. If I were Theo, I would definitely run R&D.
Yeah, I mean, and we've seen Wizards win this way hundreds of times where it's like, okay, I'm ready, here's the turn, I'm going to go all in and I'm going to see the top half of your deck. And if there's 7 points of agendas in there, that's game over.
Yeah, and I think that's where the fatal error of for Sam is not putting the CVS on R&D.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would have bought him a little bit of time. It's a shame because I think that unres dice on R&D is a data ward, which he's only a couple of credits from being able to res.
Yes, he's one turn away from resing it. Such a pity.
Oh, but he has. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
so he's got the
another
credits.
CVS.
Yeah.
All right, he's back in it. He's back in it. The CVS. Oh no, he
No, he
uses
put-
the CVS on HQ, right?
Yeah, he popped the one on HQ, which
It's
I don't know,
bad.
kind of.
No.
Yeah, it's not buying. It's going to buy him another turn, but all
He's
he's
just
gonna
gonna-
Yeah, he's just going to click for 3 credits and be in the same situation.
Exactly. So I'm not a fan of that. The only out, literally the only one out that Sam has is that he top decks a sweet sweep. He
Yeah.
needs that. Oof. Yeah, this is definitely not looking good. If I were Theo, I would just pressure R&D again.
Yeah, and me. I mean, just the value of those medium counters for his next turn. I mean, he knows Sam's on no credits, and he's not realistically going to be able to protect R&D. I mean, unless, well, yeah, if it was a resistor, he would have resed it already.
Sure.
And if it was any ice which cost less than 3 credits, he would have resed it rather than using the CVS. So yeah, Theo should just hammer R&D here, I think.
Yep, no doubt. Not sure what Theo's thinking of here. Surely that's the right call. No?
Oh,
Going for
well,
HQ.
maybe he's worried that all the agendas are in hand. Having seen so deep, he's thinking, well, maybe that hand of 4 cards is just 4 agendas. But this is going to cost him his
Faust.
Faust.
That's going to cost him 1 net damage. Huh.
So that's a really weird play, and especially with the mimic in hand as well.
Yeah. I am a bit bewildered, not gonna lie. I'm not sure what this is about. Clearly Sam has set himself what?
I'm so confused.
I am flummoxed. Whoa.
Oh
But he doesn't win on the EOI, does he?
no, the EOI doesn't work. Hang on. So he can take credit. No, he can't do it. He's a click short. If he was on 1 credit, he could install
Yes.
store the breaking news,
Yes.
exchange for a 2-pointer,
Yes.
install, advance, and get to 7.
Yeah, that's why he needs the CVS on R&D, because resing the CVS on HQ costs him 3 credits.
Yes.
So I think as Sam here, you take a credit, install breaking news, advance manually.
Yes.
Save your Astro token
Yes.
and perform the
absolutely.
EOI next turn.
Because what that does is that forces Theo to win on his next turn, which is still entirely likely.
Actually, no. No. You need to use the EOI this turn. The problem with Sam is that he, if Theo steals 1 more food, he loses. So, oh man, I think he needs to swap this turn to bring Theo down to
yes.
4 points, so that
4 points. So he has to hit 2 global foods.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see if Sam
So-
sees this. So he should use the
yeah.
Astro token here and then perform the swap.
Yeah.
Oh wow, Theo just threw this game so hard.
I'm baffled. Like, Theo's such a good, consistent player. I'm so surprised that he made that choice.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a bit. we'll interview him later, but
Yeah.
okay. So
Well, so
yeah, Sam makes the right
Sam-
line of play there. Yep.
yeah, so Sam is right back in this. So Theo now needs to hit 2 of 3 agendas on these
R&D.
runs.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that being said, Sam does not win. Actually,
He does.
he does because he has the
because
Sand
he's got
Sand
the
and
1 credit.
Theo cannot trash the Sand Sand. Fair.
Correct.
Okay, here goes. This is 5 accesses.
There's 1.
Ooh, 2 more turns, 5 more accesses. Can he get the second food? Ooh man. So next one's gonna be 7 and then it's 9. So he's gonna see at least half of R&D. 2 more foods hiding in the bottom. Oh man. This is tense.
Yeah, really tense.
At this point, it doesn't really matter the current Tama or scarcity or
No,
Tama
absolutely
target.
not.
Oh my gosh. This is really going to come down to the high wire, I guess.
Yeah, really. This is, and this is why Netrunner is such a fun game to spectate, because this game went from what looked like a certain blowout to a game where really it's down to like individual clicks and decisions. It's fascinating to watch.
It sure is. Does he have another CVS in his deck? That could swing things in his favor for Sam.
Sure, absolutely. Although I think when I checked Sam's list, he only had one.
Okay. So yeah, it's really gonna come down to the random
Oh
accesses
no,
here.
he's got two CVSs.
Okay, that's an out. So if the CVS turns up before the foods, it could mess Theo up. Gonna see 7 here, including 3 new accesses. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's a blank. One more run to
So
make.
one run, he's going to see 2 extra cards.
This is it, folks. This is it. Come on, Theo.
Yeah. So now
Oh,
Theo's
he's contemplating the HQ run. Oh. He's on 6 points. The breaking news would win him the game.
So 1 in 3 from hand versus 2 random cards from R&D, but
Surely you
already
take R&D. Surely.
yeah, absolutely. So he's already seen so many.
I mean, there is an argument to make about HQ in that if you wipe the agendas from HQ, he can't win
Yeah.
off R&D.
Can't
So
win off. Yeah.
I can see
But when
that.
you're at match point, it doesn't matter whether they can win.
He finds it. He
Found
finds it. Gets the win back. Oh my gosh.
Wow, that
Oh.
was really tense.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Oh. Well,
Well, it will be interesting to talk to Theo and find out what was going through his head when he made that HQ run.
yeah, we'll find out. But goodness me, that was way closer than it should have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, so what a very interesting first set of games we had. We had walkover pretty much with the harpsichord game, and this one really came down to a nail-biting finish. That was good.
Absolutely.
All right,
really fascinating stuff.
cool. All right, so thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back with the second game shortly, so stay tuned. All right, everyone, we'll be back shortly. The game's being made right now. We are now gonna do the winners bracket final game, which is the winner of the past two games. We have New Vapor versus Theo. Let's see. We have on commentary Rich once again. Hi, Rich.
Hello, hi Ben. Hopefully we'll get some fireworks to go with the last game.
Yeah, that last game was something. All right, so let's join in. So Vapor is coping here. So we'll see the same runner from Theo, which is Hate Bear, Siphon Wizard. What is Vapor's corp today? Hmm. Oops. I forgot to ask you to turn it off. Oops. Awesome. Okay. Sorry everyone, a bit of technical glitching there, but we are back. So, what's Vapor's corp today?
Vapo is on Blue Sun, and this is going to be really interesting against Hate Bear because Neil has 3 Crisium grids in his deck.
All right. Whoever's timekeeping, the time we can begin time now. All right. Yep. So this is a deck that's quite heavily tagged out for Hate Bear. I love it. It's really spicy.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Like, I would probably expect Neil to jam something, an ETR, and then put that Oaktown behind it, and just try and score. Probably not turn 1 because he's going to be worried about Siphon. So
Yeah, he has to be worried about Siphon.
So this is probably hedge fund Ice HQ, create a remote, and then next turn just jam and try and get the Oaktown scored.
Yep, I like that. Ooh, even double ice HQ.
Oh, okay.
Not sure about that. I think yeah. The thing with Archer, leaving Archer behind is you can't use Archer to defend R&D or his remote. I'm not really on board with that play.
Yeah, I mean, if he was worried about getting DDoSed or something, then maybe you put the Archer in that second remote position and save yourself an end the run piece of ice to use elsewhere.
I have to agree, yeah, because Theo could easily just slam medium and hammer R&D, so
yeah.
That's a problem. Oh. Is my game on stream? It should be.
Oh no, it is.
Okay.
It's having some trouble.
All right. Yeah. That scared me for a bit. All right. So yeah. So yeah, I do agree with you. Archer should be on top of HQ. Oh my gosh, what's it? What is this? Corp Agenda Flood. Ugh.
Yeah.
Looks bad. But we have Snake
power, and also well no, the Lizzie Mills is not much help to him. What he'd really like to find is his executive search firm to go and grab himself some batties to put with that snack. That'll give him some program trashing threat.
Yep, I love that. Ooh, double Archer, but no hostiles to go with it. That's a problem.
Yeah, this is a tough draw for Neil. Who's already in a difficult matchup and hasn't found anything particularly useful.
Yeah, to be fair to Neil, I think unlike most other games where, as you said, he's perfectly content jamming out Oak Towns behind Vanillas, this is one matchup where you can't because of the Faust threat. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think he's happy with not scoring agendas for now, but he would really love to see a Jackson sub sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he'd probably kind of like to see Theo start to take some tags now that he's drawn that best defense. That as Theo kind of goes tag me, that's just going to become more and more valuable. Though whether he's going to get to a position where he can use it is a different matter.
Certainly, yep. Some prime targets include medium, David to make sure that oversight AI goes through.
Yep.
Faust to cripple his breakers also fine. Okay, Convis here. I believe he will consulting visit for probably an oversight. No, you can't do that.
So yeah, see, like Theo having shown the David has put Neil in a really awkward position here because he would have loved to have seen that curtain wall and convis a couple of turns ago when he was fairly sure he could land it and get the 14 credits. Now he knows that if he convises it, it's just going to get trashed by those David tokens.
Yeah, sure. One possible line of play here is to convince for oversight on the archer on the remote and try to jam an agenda behind it.
Yeah.
We might see that coming out.
I mean, even then, Theo can get through, give away the 2 credits, and get to whatever ice is behind that. So he can't securely score. Snake time.
We all love our snakes here. This snake's not gonna do anything though. Faust is out.
Nope.
He's gonna ditch 2 cards, DDoS, and probably
And run, maybe? Yeah.
Red Run would kind of be a mistake though against this very rig shooting Blue Sun deck, but I think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and he's got a deja vu if he really needs to recur a breaker.
He does ditch the deja vu. Not sure about that. I think Spoon would actually be the best ditch actually. Given that it's Blue Sun, they are very unlikely to run big code gates, so I would have ditched the Spoon.
And that's going to break Neil's heart to see that the random top deck was a Jackson, which has been wizard credited away.
Oof, that's rough. If he has interns in his deck, he could convince for interns. That could help.
Yeah. Though convince for interns, it's still not going to let him wash his hand clean because that
Oh,
is
yeah.
all his clicks.
Yeah, that's really tough. The good news for him is that Theo is reluctant to break that lowly vanilla on HQ, so he's jacking out and the agenda stays safe for now.
Unless he is.
Aha!
Ooh, okay.
Jackson! Couldn't have come at a better time. That's definitely going in the remote. He's almost certainly getting a double draw, probably ditching Atlas Oaktown.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'd expect. This will be install Jackson, draw 2, do something so that your hand size is at 7, and then wash away a couple of those agendas.
Yeah, you reshuffle 2 agendas and the Jackson.
Add Jackson back, yeah.
Legit.
Oh no. Or convis for an oversight on
the curtain wall, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, on the arch. Oh, okay.
Me
no behind it. Okay.
Me no like that play. Me no like. No, why are you giving away a Jackson? Oh dear. Oh dear.
I think he's trading a Jackson here for all of the David tokens.
Sure. An alternative for Theo would simply be to break it using Faust, which is not impossible.
Yeah, but that's a huge card commitment. That's 6 cards, so he'd have to draw and ditch his entire hand to get through it with Faust.
Yeah, I guess he could do that with I-Fight Wars. But in any case, I'd rather feed him an agenda than Jackson. I'm not sure you want to keep HQ so full of agendas. I suppose it's good because, okay, so I can see why now. Vapor is expecting Theo to just rampage on R&D. There's only a snack protecting it. It's probably going to go down soon, and there's a medium, so he needs agendas in hand because they're safer there than R&D. I can buy that.
Yeah, and maybe he's expecting Theo's HQ runs to be siphons more than anything else. So maybe every time he gets siphoned, it's actually keeping his agendas safe.
Yep. And so Theo goes for R&D deck here, does ignore the archer, and ditches a second medium, interestingly, with Faust to Cobra. Quite surprising there. Not sure what the thought process is.
Again, you'd think the double medium ends this game almost immediately.
Pretty much, yeah. Yep, not sure about that.
Wayland's agenda's not well known for defending themselves.
Yeah, and I think Vapor is very poor right now. Bounces the snack for hedge fund money. Seems timely. Okay. And draws with Jackson. So yes, now he actually finds a couple of good cards. Christian Grid is pretty key. That's the card he's looking for all this time. But I think he has to ice R&D first.
He has to ice, yeah, absolutely. I think so. What he's trying to do here is represent that is no longer the Cobra and it's something else more threatening.
Yep, that's a pretty good strategy for Blue Sun. It loses you a click, but it's better than leaving the Cobra out to get forked. So I like that.
Absolutely.
And Jackson immediately used to shuffle an Atlas and a Jackson and a Convis. Right, that's fine.
Yep. Theo has no fear. I mean, Faust will apologize for a number of bad runs. So yeah,
Alright, so we're gonna see 3 cards here off the top. I believe Vapor does have CVS in his deck, so it
he
shouldn't be.
does.
So there's always that out. But yeah, he's starting to dig through a good chunk of R&D right now. Obelisk draws a lot of cards.
It really does.
Wanton Destruction, spicy card. That could be something that Theo's looking to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But really, he's just happy to hammer R&D here, by the looks of things. Like the Obelisk draw, funding the Faust to draw more cards with Obelisk and see deeper and deeper into Vapor's deck is just going to find him agendas at a really rapid rate.
Yeah, that's something that Vapor can't really deal with right now. The fact that he didn't get off to a very early good start.
And
Now,
I wonder whether Theo has seen upcoming ice, like that Grim, for example, and is thinking, well, maybe I need to maximize my R&D accesses now because next time there's going to be something on there which is going to be harder for me to break.
I'm sure he will. And Vapor knows that the bad pup is probably not going to do too much. I won't be surprised to see the Grim on R&D right now. But
Yeah.
Theo won't be surprised either. Now, Theo did trash a Marcus Batty on the last medium deck. So
He did, and the
he
Chrysium.
Yes. So he should be pretty well aware that this is not a kill deck right by now. Siphon and not clearing text is definitely an option.
Yeah.
We'll see if he goes for that, or I think R&D is still more tempting at this point. Siphon can wait until Vapor purges.
Yeah, absolutely.
Christian on HQ, solid defense.
Yep. And the Cobra and the Grim have gone straight back onto R&D. So that represents a fair number of card investment in order to get in now. That's 3 cards for the Grim and 2 more for the Snake. So it's going to take Theo's whole hand to see the next 5 cards on
But that's fine, he's getting those 5 cards back with Obelisk. I'm sure he'll do that.
And also, he's got 3 David counters, which of course is going to make that Grim pretty redundant actually for a long time.
It will. Yeah, I suspect he'll break it with cards here because he's going to be forced to discard down at nope, he Davids it. Interesting.
He Davided it.
Yeah, I guess he really wants the cutlery. I can see that. Yeah, he's probably gonna ditch the retrieval run here, maybe? Nope, the spoon. Yeah. Finally ditches the spoon. Yep, that's fine. Okay, he's gonna see 5 cards here.
And draw 5.
That's quite important. Oh gosh, all the hostiles. So no archers getting res today.
Yeah.
Okay, a bunch of money, which is actually quite important for Theo now. He probably wants day job next turn. I think he can ditch inject, orchestra. Yeah, this is a really awkward position. He can't play day job now. He can't play gamble now. That's tough. He might just have to blind siphon here and hope that that's not Christian. No, he's only on 1 credit. No, he can't do that.
He's on. So yeah, it's. I guess you ditch what? Inject. Oh, he just okay. Oh, so Theo's just gonna dump all of these into the Faust rather than discarding them, including the day job. So Theo going for a 0 money strategy here just to try and win this game on the spot.
Yeah, that's slowly but surely depleting his cards, the number of cards he has. Not sure about that. That could come back to bite him later. And nope, that's a fruitless R&D run. I'm pretty sure Neil purges here.
Yep.
I don't see any other. Yep, there we go. So, as Theo, you're kind of in an awkward spot. You do want to find your mimic, so you don't have to break Cobras with Faust anymore. But on the same token, that Grim is staring you in your face. You want that Fox as well.
Yeah. And the next time Neil finds a Chrysium grid, he can put that on R&D to represent a Batty, and that's going to slow Theo down as well until he can find a rumor mill or he's certain that he can get in.
For sure. Credit, best defense here. I think getting rid of the same old thing looks really tempting.
I mean, unless he was really kind of going to greedily hang on, wait for a siphon and assume that Theo seeing the Batties means he's not going to clear anymore. But yeah, I mean, with a handful of cards, I'd probably best defense that same old thing. It's going to save you 5 credits in the long term, isn't it?
Yeah, probably going to save you a piece of ice even, because that's 1 less cutlery you have to deal with, 1 less siphon. I'd do that. Nope, takes 3 credits.
And ditches the curtain wall.
Yeah, the curtain walls aren't gonna play much use this game. Against cutlery decks, you rather play Orion instead of curtain wall because there's a face check value. Whereas
Yep.
with curtain wall, they're just gonna bounce off and knife it off. So Hades
Mhm.
Shard drawn. He's gonna install the Hades Shard on this archives run here.
Yep. And then probably draw. Well, so it's funny because Theo isn't tagged, he can't really take advantage of this huge amount of cards that he's drawing because he's
Yeah.
gonna use them all up. Like,
It's so odd. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Um, I'm not sure. I think he should knife this. Okay, it's very easy for me to say knowing
Yeah,
Vapul's
yeah.
sport state. Yeah, I guess this is fine. I guess he really wants to purge the Chrysium off the base of HQ here and maybe
Yeah.
get an agenda. That's fine. And maybe draw cards with Hades Shard. Let's see if he fires it here. As you said, it's gonna be a bit iffy if he draws 7 right here because he has to discard down. But I think he's just looking to land a siphon after this run.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it feels like to me. Though, no, it's not going to be much of a siphon with Neil on 1 credit.
Yes, and more importantly, by raising the Christian grid, Theo actually doesn't want to fire Hades Shard anymore because if it's not a successful run, he doesn't get a Hades draw. So
Correct.
it was actually quite good for Theo not to pop the Hades Shard there. A lot of players would have, and Vapor could have raised the Christian grid in response to turn the card draw off. That's nice. That's a very nice interaction. I see on chat, Dave Coleman, top 16, world's play competitor, mentioned that double medium would be really good for Theo right now, and I have to agree. Ditching that medium early on probably wasn't the best call.
Yeah, that's a strange choice because Neil's R&D was open for such a long time that you would have thought seeing 8 or 9 cards on those digs would have ended this game much faster.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. And because one David counter was used on Grim, I think Vapor is very happy to res a curtain wall here.
Yeah.
Not sure what's happening though. The oversight doesn't seem to be going through.
That's weird. I mean, yeah, I'd be inclined to take the card back and try it again.
Yeah.
I can't see any. There's no effect.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
Awesome.
Obviously, Jinteki just having a bit of a falling over moment.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a huge problem. Very huge problem for Theo. Very awkward here. How many cards does it cost? 5. 4 to pump, 1 to break 1 subroutine. 5 cards to break it with
5 cards and both David tokens to deny him 14 credits.
Yeah, you can't have that. So let's see what Theo's plan is here. He goes for HQ, breaks the vanilla, probably can't res the inner ice. Probably gonna get an agenda stolen off here.
That inner ice is the data pike, which costs 4, so yeah, he definitely can't res that. He sees the best defense, somehow managing to miss the 3 agendas in hand.
Again, I must say.
Obviously, holding 3 agendas in hand is the new tech.
Gotta agree with that. Okay, I think the siphons are gonna come in here. He's just gonna siphon to pad his tags up so that he has a high hand
So he
size.
can hold some hands, yeah.
Even though the siphons are not gonna be worth much at all, just 2 credits on Vapor's credit level. Alternatively, he can install the David and deny the curtain wall, which I think would be the better play. But if he does that, he loses half of his hand, which is pretty bad.
Or he can deny the David with the cards he was going to discard anyway. But you know, he's down to 5 cards in hand with just a David. If Vapor can run him out of stack, he can just install stuff behind that Archer and win the game that way.
Yes, absolutely. I fully agree with you on that one. I think Vapor's line of play right now is to just total up. You notice he's not scoring agendas at all. He's just playing for the long haul, and it actually works against this Leveless deck. I like this line of play.
Yeah, and you know that Neil is a very accomplished player. He's gonna have a very good idea of what's in this deck, especially the fact that there isn't a levy in there.
Yep. Playing the most predictable decks gives you a huge advantage because you're playing high percentage win rate decks, but on the same token, Vapor is very aware of what's going on, and he's playing counter. His counterplay is very good.
Yeah.
What's Cathy saying on Skype? Sorry.
She's saying that he should Quetzal. He should rebirth into Quetzal for the vanillas.
That
Or
is not a
rebirth into
bad plan.
Quetzal to deny the curtain wall. So one Quetzal Sunbreak plus the 2 David
Oh,
tokens.
that might have been the play. That might have been the play. I like that. I'm not sure if he can make it in time this turn though, because as we
He
mentioned, he
could-
wants to siphon.
Yeah, absolutely. Though he has already siphoned, he's sat on 2 tags. So with 2 clicks left, he can rebirth into Quetzal, run archives, spend his David tokens.
I think he has to do that. He'll be forced to ditch 3 cards due to the discard, but I
Yeah.
think you're right. I think he has to make that line of play. Otherwise, yeah, giving Vapor 14 credits is bad.
And he doesn't really need the inject in his hand with 5 cards left in his stack, so that's an easy discard. Yeah, it seems like a really interesting line of play. Like Rebirth is such a great card because it does open up these kind of slightly sideways options that you wouldn't normally think of in the normal kind of course of a Netrunner game.
Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, Rebirth has a lot of utility, and we'll see if Theo utilizes it to its fullest here. Now, something interesting with the tag dynamic. As much as Theo wants to maximize the number of tags he has to worry about the best defense, which he did see in Vapor's hand. So Vapor can simply play it next turn. If Theo goes above 2 tags, he will go up to 4 tags if he siphons again. That Obelisk is going down for sure.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
So do you hit the obelisk or do you take out the medium at this point? I mean, the hand
The
size.
obelisk, because there are 2 obelisks in the discard. So you
That's
snipe
true.
the third one, that's it. I'm not sure why Theo's drawing here. Why do you need more cards?
Well, yeah, he has to be looking for something, but I'm not sure. Maybe it was the fork that he was looking for, which he's just drawn, so that he can take out that archer, perhaps.
He's maybe tunnel vision is not the right word, but he's definitely zoomed into using Faust to break the third subroutine on curtain wall here.
Yeah.
He had the option of using David, he had the option of Quetzal, which Laurie rightfully pointed out, but nope, he's going for the cards instead, figuring that he needs to discard anyway. I guess that's fine.
5 cards and 2 David tokens. It's a big investment.
Yeah, even though Vapor's not getting 14 credits off the curtain wall here, it's well worth the oversight.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, definitely.
So yeah, at this point, the Mimic is going to be really important. Theo needs to find the Mimic ASAP so that he can begin digging R&D again.
Do you mean the mimic that he's just discarded to Faust?
Oh gosh, no. Oh gosh, no! Theo! Oh my gosh. Well, that's a problem.
He has got 2 same old things, which will be deja vus if he really needs it, but
The
yeah,
2
that
will become
seems
1
like a
very
strange
soon.
choice.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
nope.
he's got
One
one.
same old thing. One that's gonna be trash the tags. Again, we need to get him on an interview here because the plays seem really odd from where we are sitting here.
Yeah, absolutely. Though, there's a lot to be said for having perfect knowledge and like I have been sat in game day situations where I've made some of the most ridiculous plays of my life, and then someone has come up to me afterwards and said, "What on earth were you doing? Did you not see this easy line of play?"
Yeah, that's true.
Pressure is a big thing, and I'm sure you know all about that, having been on stream at Worlds.
Yeah, I won't. I'll cut Theo some slack there. Okay, so he actually doesn't. He actually spares the David here. He actually breaks all the subs with Faust, ditching a lot of cards, including both copies of Knife. Same old thing. Mimic, Retrieval Run.
And here's a really strange thing, because Theo ran with the account siphon to get the 2 tags to give him the 7 hand size, but it looks like he's kind of deliberately discarded back down to 5 again. So whether he's forgotten that he's got that expanded hand size from the siphon tags, I'm not sure.
I'm confused. I suppose he wants to save the David tokens for some piece of ice that's never gonna come up. Vapor's never gonna get enough credits to res another big piece of ice again.
Yeah.
The only reason I can think of right here is he's angling for an Omar rebirth so that he can dig R&D, but medium's not loaded right now, so I don't know about that. Yeah.
It looks like Neil's having some technical issues with Jinteki.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
Alright, so once again, top 16 competitor Dave Coleman comes through and provides insight on the line of play. Apparently, the next line of play is going to be medium into Rebirth Omar, which seems pretty fine. I like
Yep.
that. I can see that being the win condition. Um, we'll see if he can actually pull that off though, because if Vapor's aware of this, he's probably going to Ice Archives.
Yeah.
Restructure, no money to do that.
Nope.
That's a problem. And he really cannot leave himself on this number of credits. He's just gonna get siphoned. This is a
Yeah.
pretty tough spot for Vapor. I'm not sure what the inner HQ is.
It's the data pike.
Okay, so he can duck the siphon. That's fine.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll see how he plays this here. I think the line of play is put one ice on archives, put one ice on R&D, and take a credit.
Yeah. Yeah. So where do you put it? Would you trust the vanilla over archives to be enough of attacks if you get a rebirth into Omar, or do you try and defend all of your servers with something so that he needs 3 cards to get through the Grim on archives, 3 cards to get through the Snake and vanilla on R&D?
I would trust the vanilla because both knives are in the bin. That being said, he does run paperclip, so it's
Yeah.
quite a tough call, not gonna lie. This turn is going to be very crucial for Vapor. Depending on what he does here, the game could change. The outcome could alter drastically. This is
Yeah,
very... Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say Vapo kind of in the tank because I think he's conscious as well how crucial this decision is.
Yes, yeah, it is really a huge juncture. Another thing on his mind right now is trashing the same old thing. I wouldn't be surprised if he just places one ice and trashes the same old thing, because that same old thing could do a lot of wrecking at this point. And better trash it now than to have it used for siphon or the cutlery.
Yep.
So yeah, this is a very tricky spot. We know what Theo's gonna do next turn for sure. Does Vapor?
Well,
the
that's
question.
we think we know what Theo's going to do for sure. Theo has proven that he can do things that we were not at all expecting.
True that, I'll give you that, but on the same token, this looks like Theo's only out, Theo's only line of play. Surely that's the move.
Yeah, so that's the Grim back on R&D.
Yeah, Theo has to be very conscious at this point that he only has 9 cards left to play with. Ooh, so he takes credits but discards the vanilla.
Yeah.
He's trying to play the restructure next turn. Bouncing the archer or the cobra will give him the 4
Yes.
credits he needs. So I can see that. I think that's okay. That's an okay line of play. It could have been better in my opinion, but I guess once you get to restructure range, you're good. At least
Yeah.
that's what he thinks. So-
And that's it. Well, I think the problem here is that Neil is trying to play a fair game of Netrunner and have a decent working economy, whereas what he really needs to do is just outlast these last 7 cards of Theo's for
absolutely,
long
yes.
enough.
I'm sure he knows that. I'm sure he's playing to that. But now that he sees the Omar rebirth, he will have to reconsider his options. Probably gonna bounce that Cobra, gain 15 with restructure, and replace the Cobra on archives.
Yeah.
Depends on what he draws on R&D, of course. So let's see Vapor's turn here. Again, a very crucial turn. Almost certainly gonna bounce the Cobra here. I don't see why you wouldn't relocate the snake.
Yeah, and that's going to give Theo only 3 potential more accesses through that snake into archives.
Yep. Yep, especially since Mimic is now out of the question. Fork is still there, but he surely has to think about saving that Fork for Grim instead of the Cobra. So I think Vapor at this point is trying to bounce Ice with Blue Sun to the effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, time might be running a bit short on the round, I believe.
Oh, right. So Neil's really not sure what to do here. I mean, yeah, it's got to be the snake. There's no way he picks up the archer.
Alright, Kathy, can we have a time check? Paging Kathy. Oh well. We'll get her in time. But yeah, time is definitely something to consider. Okay, 13 minutes. So yeah, especially for Vapor because
Ooh.
he's Oh.
He picked up the archer.
Hmm.
So, is his plan now
That
archer on archives oversight for?
no, he
building
just
his-
play restructure. He can't do that.
No.
No, he's just gonna concede the next medium deck, which is fair. He probably won't win off a 3 deep medium deck. Oh,
Or he could install that Lotus Field. Yeah.
or
which is
he could top
actually
deck a
gonna
Lotus
jam.
Field. Sure, Jammy get yeah, that works. Okay, Vapul's in it. Kind of, sort of, not really, because account siphon's live, but there is an inner ice that Theo must respect. So there's that. So yeah, this is gonna be really interesting. Now the ball is in Theo's park. What's he gonna do? He's gonna Omar. He's gonna see the bad news. Can't break that. He's gonna jack out.
He's gonna jack out same old spoon through that again.
I think he can't afford cards at this point. At this point, I think he's gonna angle for Black Orchestra, which will cost him 3 credits per pop, which is fine. Lotus Field is not the worst thing you can face against when you have Black Orchestra. So yeah, Theo is basically considering now whether he wants to bring the Black Orchestra out right now, which he could. That he has exactly enough credits to do so. I think he will end up doing it, since he has already made the Omar run. Seems reasonable.
It's just good click efficiency.
Yeah, and just get the accesses. I would do that. Yeah, so Theo is stuck in the awkward position of having only 2 tags. So the best defense. Huh?
Oh.
Okay, so he basically wanted to use the bad part for that. Which is fine. Aha, there we go. So now
Okay,
he
so
spoons it and he can break it. Nice. That's a nice play. I like that. Okay, so yeah, the spoon did come into effect after all. That's quite huge. So he doesn't get the Omar dig this turn, but he will get it next turn, and Vapor doesn't have much in the way of defense against that.
No, I mean he can bounce the snake and put that over archives.
He might have to. He might be forced to. But of course, this opens the door to R&D. With Forked and David, Theo can create a very nasty situation on R&D. He really wants the Cobra there, but yeah, going for the vanilla. Interesting. Now this opens up Siphon. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So basically, against Black Orchestra and Paperclip, you want to be really, really careful about opening up Siphon, because all your barriers and code gates aren't going to do much if the runner is able to convert your credits into theirs and just dig through your servers with those 2 breakers. Vanilla goes on archives. Reasonable.
Yep, absolutely. So, and Theo's got how many deja vus are in his heap? It looks like all of them. Yeah, so Theo has 2 siphons available. The one he's holding and the same old thing he's holding.
Did he use same old thing to get the spoon? Yes, he did. So
He
yeah,
did.
Vapor not trashing the same old thing came back to bite him. That extra recursion cost him the Lotus Field.
Yeah.
And there's
Though-
still another same old thing in hand. Yep,
Yeah.
go ahead.
And he was in a really difficult situation because he had a lot of things he needed to do in that turn where he had the option to trash the same old thing. And I think the pressure that Theo is applying is stopping him from being able to take the time to, I'm just going to use this time to kill that same old thing.
Yeah, it is a problem. And yeah, but some choices yeah, yeah, I'm not sure about this. He didn't rest what seems to be the data pike.
Yes, it's definitely the data pike. So I think maybe he is thinking, MU.
Okay, so he doesn't need the orchestra anymore because Lotus is in a bin. That's fine. I think he should have rest the data pike there. Even if it costs Omar 1 card, that's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Every card matters. Okay, the agendas are starting to appear. That's 6 agenda points.
Yeah.
Things are looking really dicey for Vapor right now.
Yeah,
a single HQ run ends it here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Siphon landed. 4 tags. If Vapor survives this turn, that best defense is going down. It's gonna hit something. I'm not sure what it's gonna hit. I'm just saying it's gonna hit something.
Yeah. So, but what do you target at this point? There's no point in taking the Obelisk out because you're not worried about hand size or their draw anymore.
Neither the Paperclip because that's gonna come back.
Yep. the Faust is irrelevant. The David is basically not accomplishing much. It's going to be on one token. So your best target is a medium to kind of slow the dig down a little, I guess.
Probably, but that encourages Theo to go to HQ where there are tons of agendas. So
Uh-huh.
looks a bit iffy either way. Okay, he's going for full-on R&D right now, killing the Grim with David, going for the Forked on the Cobra. Gonna see a lot more cards this time. Probably will end the game here.
Yeah.
Marcus Betty in the bin.
There goes another Batty, yep.
Thinking about this access, not many credit. Nope, he's not wizard, so he doesn't have recurring credits. Yes, Trash Jackson Howard manually, down to 1 credit. What is Vapor's line of play? What does he bounce here? I don't think he can bounce the. No, he can't bounce the Cobra. Surely not.
He can't bounce anything, really. He can't, because he needs the vanilla to prevent the Omar runs. Oh.
Nope, goes for the Cobra. I guess he has some sort of best defense play lined up. Orion. That's not very useful right now.
No.
So Theo is
So I
super
bet he wishes he had an oversight right now.
Sure, for sure. Ooh, yeah, this is awkward. Yeah. Looks like no matter what you do, you're kind of screwed, I think.
Yeah. You feel like this feels like such an unfortunate situation because really you're in such a no-win situation when Theo is so close to not being able to accomplish anything.
Yeah, so basically the line of reasoning here is you cannot purge. If you purge, he runs HQ, he wins. So he's just gonna say, I hope the next few cards on R&D are not agendas, and I'm gonna replace Cobra with Cobra, and hope nothing bad happens here. Which could be the case, but Omar Run is gonna trigger first. The problem here is that Theo knows as well as we do that that's probably a Cobra. He can't run through it, so he's probably gonna run HQ after this. If he doesn't get the medium dig win from here, he's gonna get it from HQ.
Yeah, and the data pike isn't going to keep him out because of Black Orchestra.
It will because he's on very few credits. Oh, too bad pop.
Yeah.
Too bad pop. That not gonna happen. So he's not gonna be kept out of HQ. This is gonna end soon.
So,
Unless
so
he
Deagle
keeps
has
hitting
to
a.
res heal.
He does. I really think Vapor should have rested Pike earlier. Oh well. Well, that's exactly 3 credits. Oh wait, where's the orchestra? It's gone! He overwrote it! So he can't get through HQ now.
Yes, yeah. He has to reinstall the the orchestra here, which he's gonna do because
no, he doesn't have enough credits, does he, to install the orchestra?
He's got 2 from yes, he has. He's got 2 from Bad Pub.
Trashing the David? Okay, yeah, I can see that. So he's just gonna use the Bad Pub here, jack out, and then go for R&D because Vapor's on exactly 3 credits. Seems good.
Yeah.
Or take a credit. Nope, he's just gonna go straight for R&D. Vapor's just 1 credit short. Ugh, so annoying. And
so I see 7 agendas. I
9
think there
cards.
Are 10 in.
Yeah, there are
Vapor
3
Check.
agendas. He's gonna see 9 of 16. Probably not gonna get an agenda.
Miss.
But he's gonna run R&D again.
Yeah.
Any CVS? Maybe the CVS could be coming. If he hits the CVS and doesn't win, things could be interesting. Alright, there we go. Yeah. So ultimately Blue Sun just couldn't stand up to the immense pressure of Cutlery and Siphon.
Yeah, Theo taking it right to the edge of what resources he had, but yeah, Vapor just never really got going fast enough to contest the incredible aggression from that deck.
Yeah, if he had an early oversight, Curtain Wall or Orion, things could have been a lot different. Yeah, he was always playing catch up, as you said, and once he had to start defending all 3 centrals, that turned into a horror show for him.
Yeah, it really did.
Alright, so folks, here's the bracket. Whoop, that's not the bracket. This is the bracket. Theo has just won, and he's now safely, comfortably in the finals, waiting for everyone else to climb up the ladder. Next match going to be featured is Dave versus Sam, fighting in the first losers bracket round. We'll be getting different commentators after this, so thanks again, Richard, for joining us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on, Ben. Good luck with the rest of the stream, everybody.
No problem. All right, catch y'all in a couple minutes. Alright, hi everyone, we are going to be back shortly. Here we have our top 4 game, elimination round. This is Dave versus Sam. Doing comms with me today is Dave Etherington. Swifty, hi Dave.
Hiya. I'm rooting for Dave as a fellow Dave. I think he can do well after the savage agenda flood they had in the last game.
Dave, commentators are supposed to be neutral.
Okay, but I'll try and be neutral, but I've got to support Dave, right?
Yes, too many Daves in Aldershot. Way too many.
There's two.
That's too many.
Okay, cool.
Right, so we've seen Dave's, not you Dave, but that Dave's co-op deck, which is Harpsichord, non-kill, it's just power shutdown to fast advance some agendas and hopefully win. Sam, on the other hand, is going to run. Now we haven't seen this runner deck yet, it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, I have played this sort of runner deck and it does look quite interesting.
So basically it's there are 2 Swifties here. Jeez. You're cloning yourself.
Multiplying.
Oh man, what a disappointment. Rotate isn't the only one multiplying.
He has as many clones to help him test. He keeps in appalling conditions, I hear.
Okay, you're a bit quiet.
Okay, well,
okay, your volume should be maxed out now. I hope this is good enough.
yeah, hopefully. I've moved my mic so it's a bit clearer, hopefully.
Yep, that's quite clear. And the game begins. We have Harpsichord fast advance, slow advance, whatever advance versus Power Tap Andy. This should be an interesting matchup. So both players mulligan, and once again,
No.
Dave agenda
Oh,
floods.
no.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
no. So what do you do here?
Big though. That's always nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna get taken away by the turn 1 account siphon, but yeah, I guess it's nice.
I mean, if you're siphoning turn 1, you're just going to flip the tags. I guess nothing bad's going to be happening from.
Nah, you just clear
Tags.
tags and yeah, clear tags and dirty laundry one of the
You did.
remotes.
What would you ditch?
Rabbit hole might be a good ditch because this is Harpsichord. You're probably not expecting to get trace. Leg, I don't know. Maybe the second Temujin. We'll see.
Yeah.
Alright, hi everyone. We are gonna be back shortly. Yeah, can you turn down your volume? Sorry, Swifty. Yeah, it's echoing. This is Dave versus Sam. Swifty, you have the stream on.
It should be closed. I have had a few problems with my computer where I don't know if people catch the Laurie stream where I somehow interfered with Chris's game and tried to res all his cards, which was a bit unfortunate.
That doesn't sound like something that you should be doing.
I don't know how that happened.
But it should be better now. Alright, so Temujin on HQ, Dirty Laundry on HQ. So he runs one of the remotes, I believe.
Oh, make money.
Yep, makes lots of money. Doesn't go for the turn 1 siphon.
No, I don't think the turn 1 siphon's the right one.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't think you really achieve much from it, really.
Yeah, I can definitely see why, and surely you want to play all of your cards. So yeah, I can see that. I can buy that. But still, ditching cards is still very difficult here. What do you ditch here? Rabbit hole? Nope. Special order. Ooh, interesting.
Good. Yeah, because I mean, if you've got John Mashinoris to try and draw you some more cards, you stick that down, and then you're just being gear checked by Hopscord anyway.
Yep, that's quite true. Hopefully the gear check ice won't come up for Sam's sake. And there goes the siphon. So that's our first siphon. Of many to come, for that matter.
Yeah.
And ooh, A legwork. That's gonna be nasty. That is.
Yeah, I like the early legwork. Might be able
Yeah.
to get some idea. Yeah, he's got a better idea of what's going on now.
And wow, just misses the Exploder-Palooza. So, Sam is up 2 points to Dave's 1. 15 minutes, not the most ideal agenda to score right there.
But to be fair, he did see the accelerated diagnostics, so knows that there is something up now.
Yeah, I think Sam might be going to be drawing aggressively for his plus read here.
Yeah,
Not
Sam is well known for some of his CI decks that I've had to play against him, and he knows quite a few accelerated combos.
Yeah. Alright, trying to poke HQ here. Let's see whether he can force the res. Not sure if he res here actually. Most of the cards here are not. Okay, he goes for the res. Data Raven, that's gonna keep him out.
Yeah. And he still takes a tag from John, which always sucks. Left with a tag. So do you trash just John, or you just trash the John Massinor at this point?
John, yeah. Very surprised he actually floated the tag. Could
Well,
get.
he ran on HQ last click, and John gave him the tag.
I see. Yes. Okay. So that explains it. That's really unfortunate.
Connections are not clean. He cannot guarantee it.
I would. Yes, I agree with you there. I would trash John Masnori. All right. So as Sam here, yeah, you just draw aggressively. Now that you have 2 power taps, rabbit holes in hand, that kind of messes up your. Oh, that messes things up real bad. Yeah, I think one very important reason to install rabbit holes early is just to thin your deck, and you can see right here what happens when you don't do that.
Yeah, and
So-
he had the economy to do it as well early on.
He did, yeah. I mean, he doesn't know what deck he's facing up against, so I can't really blame him for it. But it still sucks having it this way. Now he trips into the disposable HQ. That's the upgrade on R&D. So Dave will happily bury both Exploder-Paloozas here. That's good play.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, that's gonna be a tough choice. Do you trash the disposable HQ? You know that they're just gonna bury more agendas with it. Every time you make an R&D run.
That is quite a hit to his economy as well, though.
It is,
Especially
and yeah.
Acting in his hand.
I mean, he does have another Temujin in hand, so it's not the worst.
No. Should trash the disposable HQ then Temujin again?
Possibly. You always have to be worried about iced up R&D. So, okay, going for the power tap.
There is the combo with the power tap in this deck now, where you can tag yourself and then remove it while making money.
Exactly. So yes, Sam's deck does run Citadel Sanctuary, which fires a trace if you're tagged at the end of your turn to remove said tag. That's a pretty strong combo once it's all set up. It's gonna be a lot harder this game though, because you really want to have the extra link, and the rabbit holes are all stuck in your hand. It's so awkward.
Yeah.
Pop-up window comes to save the day on R&D. We are going to see, probably not going to see disposable HQ use here, but we are going to see a John Machinery draw. We are going to see 1 excess, and he snipes the view. That's huge. On the other side, Dave has drawn into a Reclamation Order. Now, what would he use Reclamation for in his combo? Probably to get Accelerated Diagnostics back. Jackson's back, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yep, it's quite interesting. But he's nowhere near assembling a combo just yet. In fact, he might have to use a Reclamation Order here just to save the Jacksons in the bin.
I was suggesting that.
Yeah, and but to be fair, he's not really in a hurry to do that right now. There's no way that Andromeda can interact with the Reclamation Order. It's not like she's Anarch. So I think Dave will be happy to just keep the Rec Order in hand until he needs it.
The other thing that has caught me out with a few times with Power Tap is that it can be used as like a pseudo link because you gain the money before you have to put your own money into the trace.
Yep.
So when you fire the Data Raven, he gained 2 credits from that. So that was basically the link that he was using.
Okay, interesting here. I think as Dave here, I would have pumped the Data Raven trace. Depending on his deck. I'm not very sure whether his deck runs Exchange, but having the Raven counter is always nice. And
The tag on demand is always good, yeah.
Yeah, if only to trash all these resources. I think I would have boosted the trace there. It's not like he really needs the money for much else.
Yeah.
Alright, he finds the new Jackson Howard, so he's probably gonna shuffle more Jacksons back in. Found an Astro. I think that's gonna stay in his hand.
And he's got an intern. I mean, interns is a very good card. You can install things from HQ or R&D or archives, and it's all free. I mean, interns is such a good card.
What? You're saying it can install from HQ?
Yeah, I don't know if people are aware from this. I mean,
What?
while it can install from archives, which is really good,
No way.
install is brilliant.
And ignoring the install cost.
Yeah, pretty strong.
So if he
Like
uses interns on pop-up window here on R&D, he pays no credits?
None at all.
No.
You can even use it when you're playing against Diaper, and they've got 8 pieces of ice in R&D. You can stick a 9th one on that, and it won't cost you anything.
Top
That's
strats.
value. That is value.
That is some real top strats right there. But sadly, he trashes the interns.
I don't think he's going to be getting 8 ice on R&D anyway.
Neither do I. What we are gonna get, however, is a Temujin on archives. So the archives is gonna get run here.
Yeah.
And he could put a pop out on archives next turn. That would be some pretty good value.
Yeah, I like that. Pop up on archives is good. Data driven archives is always nice to stop the Mujin. Why where do you get the you're not Jackson the Exploder back?
So I guess he's really hoping he top decks the power shutdown here for some 6-point combo. It's not gonna happen. But there's the power shutdown.
Yeah. He got it now, but
yeah, so by putting Sam on match point, yeah, that's a bit iffy. I don't know. You have the reclamation order to return the Jacksons into your hand if you need it. I'm not sure if it's a good idea to put the runner on match point like this.
no, I'm not really a fan of that.
The good news is that Andy is only on single accesses right now, so she's.
Still probably would have liked to put that pop up on archives as well, really.
I think Dave is actually trying to bait Sam into running archives at this point. So he actually wants Andy to run archives.
How can he get a combo when he's on 1 point?
That's a good question.
I'm not really aware of all the combos that this deck can do. But
I guess it can try to score a breaking news and then a market research. So that's a 2-pointer agenda, a 2 advanced agenda and a 4 advanced agenda that will give you 4 points because market research is worth extra points when breaking news is scored and slaps tags on you. That's about it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you get a 6-point. But with double diagnostics and a reclamation, surely you want the reclamation in the bin, not in your hand. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. If he's gonna make the combo work, he needs more than 1 Jackson. I guess you can use interns to install the Jackson.
I was going to say, if he's accessing disposable HQ, he can put the reclamation order back into R&D so he can get it into archives when he power shutdowns.
Very good call. Yes, that's a very good
But
call.
I guess he doesn't want to do that.
Nope. Doesn't look like
Okay.
it. So let's see if he combos out here. The runs were made. Sam did not win. Will the power shutdown combo fire? No.
No.
So why did he feed him the agenda? What?
I have no idea why he fed him that agenda. Maybe he just forgot. It is not an uncommon strategy for Dave to forget we have agendas in archive. It is one of our weaknesses.
When was the last time you did that?
I was playing a game earlier and I installed a government takeover and forgot it was installed. And then I started losing and he took it.
Did you say government takeover?
Yes.
You're full of jank.
Well, yeah, okay.
There's no good comeback for that. There's just no good comeback.
I wanted to play a fun deck at a G&K. I don't really want to take a yellow deck, so I'm going to take Wayland.
Fun. Yes, I'm being a bit sarcastic here. For those of you who don't know, during the World's Training Gauntlet, which Dave was part of, he died. This guy doesn't know what fun is. Anyway, back to the game. We have a third piece of ice on R&D to respect the medium, and this is where the interns were really paid off. Save 2 whole credits right there. Yeah, Dave just misplaying this interns big time. I think he's just not very aware of it.
Maybe he's not aware. Maybe he needs to speak to Peter a bit more about it. Bring up on the benefits of interns and Power Tap, which is on the table as well. Peter's got to be loving this game.
Sure, there must be. Baltic Neighbor in hand. Do you want it in hand? I don't know. Do you? Do you want to score the Astro with a biotic? That sounds good. I think you want to score the Astro with a
You
biotic.
probably want. You've got 22 credits. That's enough to do a lot of things with.
Yep. On the same token, that medium looks very, very scary.
I did miss the ice that was put down on R&D though. Do you remember what it was? Or-
Nope, but I'm pretty sure we'll find out soon enough. Dave's still not ditching any of his gen. Was there an agenda ditch? I don't think there was.
No.
And I'm very surprised Sam is still leaving the Jackson alive. If I were him, the Jackson would be gone by now. I'm just holding myself, restraining myself from going wild at the Jackson being on the table for 5 or 6 turns now. I'm. Kill the Jackson.
Yeah, with the other two Jacksons in the heap, I don't understand why you're not going after this one.
Kill the Jackson now.
Well, I mean, if he does have another interns, he could just get one of the trash Jacksons back.
He's just misplayed so bad with the interns. There's no coming back from that. There's no return. Once you ditch interns, the interns are gone forever. Hmm.
Well, at least it wasn't Theo that had the issue with his decks, despite some of the.
Yeah, I was
problems
quite
that
happy
he's had
that
before.
a breaking news didn't pop up during his runner game.
Yeah, that would have been impressive.
Yeah. Alright, Data Raven comes. Sam does not have any capability of avoiding tag, so he's going to make this run tag, which means that Quantum Kitties could go the way of Dave. That being said, there's already one in hand, so the chances of that are pretty unlikely. Power tap gaining much value on the Raven Trace.
Well, like it's pseudo link, like I said, he got in there for free almost.
Pretty much that. He'll still have to clear the tag, but he's going to see 2 cards here, potentially game-winning cards.
So, and also access to disposable HQ. Would you be looking to get rid of any cards in your hand with disposable HQ?
Right now, I have no idea how Dave intends to win this game. Probably bury the Kitty. I have no idea. I mean, Kitty is nice in HQ. It's sitting pretty. If he runs HQ, he has to take a tag, which scores the Kitty. So I don't think
it would also be safe in R&D. You've got a Raven on the front of that as well.
Yeah. So I guess it's
and
fine.
You want to hold on to the combo pieces, I guess.
Yeah, you do. If there's one reason for ditching Kitty to the bottom of your deck, it's to free up hand slots in case you draw combo pieces. But as far as I'm concerned, he has the whole combo in hand already. All you need is diagnostics and shutdown. There we go. There we go. That's huge.
Don't know how long that was left there for.
He did not clear the tag. He did not clear the tag. Not that that's gonna change things, I guess. But
I think Dave is too narrow or too tunnel visioned on trying to do his combo that he will probably forget that there are tags there to trash stuff.
You want to trash stuff, surely.
The John Masanori lived last time Sam floated the tags. I think it could live again.
It could. It sure could. Definitely good reason to trash the stuff there. That being said, trashing the stuff doesn't really directly help him win the game. Now he's just very sad that the Jacksons are all gone. So he's gonna reshuffle the Jacksons, gonna reshuffle a hedge fund. Yeah, I'm not very sure about Dave here. Doesn't top deck the Jackson.
And he didn't reshuffle the interns back. He put the hedge fund back in. So
yeah, mistakes and tough mistakes. But again, once he reads the card, he'll become enlightened to its nuances. I think he just scores the Astro here with Biotic. Sure, you want to capitalize on the tag, but I think at this point you just want to get rid of agendas. The Astro seems fine.
Yeah, well, a yellow with an Astro, nasty stuff's always going to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
What they do with their counter.
Yeah, and it possibly could lead Sam into making wrong decisions on future turns. Trying to play more aggressively. That being said, R&D is a big problem right now. As Dave, I will be very, very concerned that the next medium deck will win my opponent the game. Again, I can't see why he wants to feed the Explodapalooza there, but well, it's a thing, I guess.
So, the Explodapalooza, he also basically turned off one of the strongest things the Heart can do, throwing down 2 agendas in one turn. And
exactly.
and scoring one of them. He just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Glad you brought that up. That's a very important point because a lot of times if you're ahead on agendas versus harp, as harp, you can just win by throwing 2 agendas out. A fair number of anarchs and most criminals have no answer to that.
Yeah.
Now, we see here a legwork, and that's going to almost certainly score Dave the kitty, which is going to be really sweet.
That goes, yeah.
So again, I think the Biotic Astro play here was quite good. Otherwise, the Astro would be liable to get stolen. So I like this play. He sees double diagnostics.
So can he do his? He's on 4 points now. He can do the breaking news. No, does he need the breaking news and market research?
Yeah, he can just score a single market research because Sam is tagged now, unless he clears the tags.
But he has got rid of the cards he needed to do it. Did he not need the
What?
accelerated diagnostics?
What?
He,
What the hell?
Yeah, I thought you needed those to, would play the cards.
Don't ask me.
Okay.
I'm lost for words.
I mean, I don't actually have the YouTube chat up, so they might understand what's going on, but it seems like a bit of an odd game after watching Theo's game, where he made a few things that were a bit odd.
A few is an understatement. Cyberdex comes in at the right time. Medium's gone? Question mark.
Half expecting him to put Power Shot down the bottom of his deck as well at that point.
Okay, let's put it the other way. If he kept the accelerated diagnostics and somehow finds a Jackson, he can win by install Jackson, power shutdown whole deck, diagnostics for intern shipment, which scores either a big build, I believe he has 1 more build left in his deck, or scores a market research, which can is worth 3 points with attack on Sam. So either way, why would you discard your no, do not understand. Does not
And now
click.
he's got a Magnum Opus installed when he just runs against the Resistor. It does save a few tags.
Yeah. Okay. I've enough of being speechless. So Sam is just gaining lots of money right now between Power Tap and Archives Temujin. That seems fine. I mean, sooner or later he'll just win the game, right? From some sort of random access, unless Dave lines the stars up perfectly. I think at this point, Dave's only out is to score the last build in the deck by fast advance and have Sam hit the quantum predictive. That's long
A
stretch.
big deal at some point.
He can't do the big build anymore, can he? Because he discarded the diagnostics, both diagnostics, even. So the shutdown combo is off. The only thing he can do right now is to fast advance the build using normal Astro ways, normal ambient ways, which he can do. He drew the last build because he's a jammy git. Putting him out to 6 points.
Highly skilled player drawing the build.
Sorry?
Skilled player to draw the build, right?
Fine. Very skilled play right there. Well done, Dave. And now Sam is making the low skill play of running R&D to see 1 card. And get a disposable HQ. Don't bury the build. Don't. Good boy.
Yeah. Well, would you bury any cards with the disposable HQ?
I wouldn't. I don't know about this guy. But Sam is just going to try to win here with a deep medium deck. If he hits a Quantum Kitty, he might lose this game.
Well, he will lose the game if he hits a cat, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how this turns out, but this could swing in the way of Dave unexpectedly. So the guy you're rooting for might be pulling a win out here after all.
Well, I don't know how he would have done it, but that would be quite impressive.
I'll agree with you on that one. Pop-up money is going everywhere. Dave is getting really rich, but he has nothing to do with money. Sam is losing a bit of money. Power Tap saving him today. But again, not worth much. He's going to see 1 extra card. Is it a winning agenda? Nope. Not the winning agenda. So, if Dave had interns here, if he shuffled it back with Jackson, he could interns for CBS.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then install it for free.
For free. Big value. Interns, guys, interns. That card has more than one use. Okay, last R&D run. Gonna get one more card here. Will it be the Quantum Kitty? Will it be? That would be epic. That would be so epic.
Dave doesn't have psychographics in his deck at all, does he?
Nope, I don't think he does. He might have an exchange though, and
No.
exchange could just win him the game. Nope. R&D's drawing a blank. So this is quite an awkward situation for Dave here. He cannot really let Sam have too many more medium digs. I'm not sure what Dave's plan is here. There's no ice that stops Sam at this point. You just purge?
Yeah, surely.
But if you're purging, you're kind of losing, aren't you? He's just gonna do the same thing again.
I'd like to try and score the Beal and then hope he hits a cat, really.
That works as well. That works as well. That's definitely power shut down for +4. That's pretty brilliant. I like that. I dig that. That's a good play. So power
Yeah,
shutdown
sure,
has
then-
more than one use apparently. Not only does it enable your combos, it kills your rig.
But
Your
doing it
opponent's
in a
rig.
fair way.
Yes, the fair use of power shutdown. I like that.
Correct use of power shutdown.
That's cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so here's the problem. Now his attention will be diverted to HQ and the Bill's in there. So this could be risky. This could be really risky.
Like he's going to overwrite the data
Data
raven to
Raven,
save
yep.
money.
Yes, so that's why he's unloading all the tags right now. Yeah, to be fair, I'm really surprised that Sam went tag me. I'm not sure what his thinking was, but he does have the Citadel in hand. He can easily make a single run on R&D every turn and still clear the tag. So Quandary is now on R&D, and
He could get the Nexus and get in if David doesn't purge.
that's a good call. He will probably do that. But that being said, he's only on one link. To beat the trace, he needs to pay for every time. A rebate of 2 from power tap, but that's gonna run out quickly. Yeah, so yeah, Sam's money is just gonna drain very quickly if he goes for the Nexus route. I think Siphon will be his big friend here. So he's probably gonna just go W here. I think. No question about that.
Well, he might not.
Surely, as a Dave, a good player would score W. All Daves are good players, right?
I'm really hoping he does score the Beal for me.
Oh
Please
gosh.
score the Beal.
Please score the Bill. Can you hear us? Please score the Bill. Do I need to type in chat? Please. Please score Bill.
Ah,
Okay.
there
good.
it goes.
Great. Wonderful. Okay. Game is live. Game is live, folks. 6-6. We are. It's anyone's game. It's anyone's game at this point. Dave has a bunch of useless money cards in his hand. He doesn't need any more money. Sam has a bunch of useless economy cards in his game. He doesn't need economy. Well, he kind of does, but he's tagged to hell, so those are not going to help. What is Sam's plan? Surely it's Nexus. Maybe Siphon into Nexus.
Maybe, yeah.
But if that's a code gear on HQ, he'll be kind of stumped as well. So either way, it's not very good for Sam, to be honest. I'm not sure why he's digging
Dave has managed to somehow pull the game back
against
maybe?
all odds. Yeah. Nope, not a winning agenda. I think what Sam is looking for here is his backup decoder. He might be running one, and that will explain things. And now Dave is just gonna play the long game, knowing that HQ is safe, knowing that R&D is the only way he's losing. He's just gonna destroy Sam's econ. I like that. Peregrine comes out. That's the breaker. There we go. Okay. Burp. Small burp.
Oh, can't do that.
Nope, not good.
Exploder.
If I were him,
Another
I
agenda.
draw more.
Yeah.
You gotta draw. You gotta find the kitty and put it on the table.
Yeah.
Or purge. Purge is fine as well.
That's fine, yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure what the agenda suite is here. I presume there are breaking newses in there, so you kind of do want to get the breaking news. But now Sam is going for Peregrine. Yeah, the Quandary is not gonna do much. I think he has double Quandary there, thinking that it can stop a Nexus, but Peregrine's just gonna get through easily. So that's gonna be at least 3 cards off the top R&D. We'll see if the Meow Meow appears. Meow Meow? Okay, he's gonna bury the Palooza here for sure. Yep.
There are no breaking newses in the deck. It is a 50 minutes Astro, 3 Exploder, Market Researcher, BL, and 3 Cats. So
3 cats.
3 cats.
Meow. Team cat here. 2 cats in R&D. He's going to really roll the dice on this one. Okay. Okay. This could end up being a really cheesy win for Dave.
So the only agendas left is the 2 Exploders and the 2 Cats.
And 1 exploder is buried, is at the bottom of the deck, so
Yeah.
that's not happening for Sam. In fact, there might be multiple agendas buried for Sam, in fact. There might be another Palooza at the bottom of the deck, for all we know. So yeah, this is actually, I think Dave might have calculated this. We'll have to ask him later, but he might have calculated this and decided that there's almost no way, or in fact no way, that he's going to lose off medium, because the subsequent few cards are, the next agenda is probably going to be a kitty.
Yeah, well,
Oh, he found it. He found the last Exploder Palooza. Whew.
Ooh.
Well,
yeah.
Dave's got wiped this time, finishing in 4th place. And
There's still more Daves that made it than Ben's.
touche. Well, Sam makes it to the top 3. Congratulations, Sam, and still well played to Dave. Pretty good
well played
game.
today, somehow.
And yep, that was a pretty good showing from both sides. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the combo again, but as mentioned with Richard, I guess it's not destined to be seen on the UK Stimhack League stream. Oh well.
Yeah, I think we're unlucky with the accelerated diagnostics combos on the Stimhack leagues.
No worries. 3rd time's a charm. Next time, folks, tune in. Any last comments, Dave?
Just sad to see Dave lose, really.
Well, isn't it always a pity? Well, thanks again, everyone, for watching. We'll be back with the top
Thank you.
3 games shortly. Dave will be joining Jono, who will be our next commentator. We'll see you then. All right, hi everyone. We are back for the top three losers bracket round. With me commentating is Jono. Hi, Jono.
Hello. How's it going,
This-
Ben? You alright?
Yep, doing good. This is Jono of Neo Reading Grid fame, but I don't think I need to tell you that because you probably recognize him
And
from his.
reigning champion.
Ye-
Let's not leave that one out.
Oh yeah, oh yes, yes, you
Reigning
are.
Stimhack League champion.
Yes,
I am for the
Uh,
next like hour and a half. Yeah.
yeah, and our YouTube says Jono hype, so this should be good. Stream, let us know if the audio balance is bad. We'll get that sorted. And with me as well is Swifty, Dave Edrington.
Hello. Still here.
All right, awesome. So let's do a bit of player intros before we get the game going. This is Sam Cesaria versus Vapor Neil. So Sam is from Coventry and did pretty well at regionals with Professor and Blue Sun.
Yeah, they're both Midlands kind of meta mates, aren't they? I think that I know they have collaborated a few times on decks in the past.
I think
I'm
they
not
may
sure-
have collaborated on this Blue Sun Rig Shooter deck.
Yeah, in particular, I know that Sam's gone off it a little bit. He's obviously on a kind of weird soul today, but I know they've definitely Sam has in the past played that. I think he played Blue Sun at the BAW finals, in fact.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I was giving him a game at the BAW finals with it, although unfortunately he was diked by Kate. That didn't go too well for him.
Oh, how can you get died with oversight in your deck? I don't see that. But anyway, yeah. So Sam does play Rig Shooter Blue Sun as well. Kind of knows the deck that Vapor is playing, but Vapor's deck doesn't have Arc Lockdown, so that should be interesting. Speaking of Vapor, he's our other player who is going to be playing Wizard. Oh, wait, is it Wizard? Oh, nope, wrong one. Yes, he's going to be playing
He's
the Blue
on-
Sun. Yes.
Yeah, he's Corping, right? So he's Blue Sun.
Yep, he's from Birmingham, pretty close to Coventry as well. Yep, so yeah, Vapor a pretty consistent Wayland player, loves his non-kill Blue Sun. And yeah, this is going to be a very interesting match, and we'll see who comes out on top this time. Any thoughts about the matchup, guys?
Well, so if it's Nexus Andy against a kind of vegan Blue Sun, that would seem to favour Nexus Andy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I feel like you're not going to be able to tax him out or rush particularly well. You're not going to be able to lock him out of a remote, I guess is the point. So it'd be really interesting to see how Neil approaches this. I'm not really sure. To be honest, I don't know. It could go either way, right?
I'd like to try and score an agenda really quickly. Just start jamming something behind a vanilla or a spiderweb or something and try and score that as soon as possible.
Yeah, so he's got an Oaktown in starting hand, although it's not going to work behind the Ryan. He's going to struggle. In fact, that's not a great mulligan because he can't put down any rushy ice. Jackson will help. He does have the batty, so I guess he's going to try and go for there is a rig shooter plan here. So if he can hit some breakers, obviously Criminal's going to suffer a bit from that. It'd be interesting to see how he can if he can capitalise on that. It looks like he's just going to rinse his hand on the first turn though.
Another mulligan, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's a little bit better. I mean, I'm not sure. So as Neil here, you probably don't necessarily throw away all the agendas. You might consider keeping. And that looks like he's going to throw him.
I would have liked to keep the. Yeah, I'd probably do something like that.
Keeping the hostile interesting because that'll turn the archer online, of course. So that's definitely a threat you want to put out. This is interesting for Andy as well because normally Andy wants to play 4 cards. So she does have dirty laundry and legwork. Interesting. Not like to see that on turn 1 though.
You're not worried about Rumil at all being caught up by that?
As Neil, maybe. Yeah, I might have popped it. Rumil, it's very common in Anarch, of course. It's not very common in Criminal. You might get 1 though, and Andromeda does have 9 cards, so you don't want to take the risk. He did throw away 4 points. Yeah, as Neil, I might have popped the Jackson actually straight away. Of course, I would have. I mean, currently paranoid. We are going to get a legwork though, which is interesting because Neil did just kind of wash his hand. Didn't see anything. He trashed the batty, but
I was going to say you're so glad when the back
missed the
goes.
hostile takeover. Yeah. So let's think about ice. So Orion is going to be, I guess, a prime target for Nexus. Andy's not particularly interested in breaking it. The Lotus field is interesting. So what are the options there? There's Passport and Peregrine. Actually, I do have the deck list. I can seamlessly look. Yeah, he's got Passport and Peregrine. That's the only options for Orion. But he's got the Mercenary Online and the Sec testing. And with Daily Cast as well. He's going to get set off fairly quickly.
I wouldn't expect you to get much use out of security testing and John against Blue Sun. you could probably quite easily
It's
ice up
true.
all of your
Uh,
centrals.
So Masanori, I find now. I mean, I don't like Masanori at all. I
I've
find him a
never
bit of a liability, especially against a corp you know is going to have no more than one remote ever. But on
Yeah.
the other hand, this deck is kind of designed to maybe take a tag or two. So he may not be too worried if he gets a Citadel down and some power taps, and he can face check with Masanori and not worry too much. I guess it's interesting. All right, we're going to get some more draws from Neil. So I guess he's looking for. Is he just going to shore up centrals here? I'm not sure what his game
No.
plan is against
I'd like
Sandy.
on the Curse Wall, and then next turn try and score the Oak Town.
Oh yeah, you go straight for it. Sure, there's no breakers on the other side, so if Nexus is his solution, is expensive.
Yeah, but now he does have a bunch of money, so
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe the rush is the right strategy here. He does have special orders, and you have to expect that
yeah.
for a criminal.
Yeah, I do like my main plan is to try and make the runner have it, and inevitably they do now with the Faust, so it's kind of annoying, but
Yeah, yeah. So gear check's not too bad here. I mean, this is interesting as well. Obviously, the Temujin Archives means that Neil wants to respond to it. I actually didn't see what the ice was he put down, but largely it was curtain ball. Interesting. Okay, so I mean, he could res it, turn off Temujin, you can pick it up again. The Power Blue Sun, obviously. He could have considered. No, Grim's no good on archives there.
No, I've not really got much use out of Grim recently when I've been playing Blue Sun.
Yeah, Grim's an interesting choice in Blue Sun as well because you probably don't want to pick it up ever, being illicit. So
I think it's more the fact it's a trash subroutine that's quite hard to break for Anarch.
Yeah, it's for Batty, right? So it's just something that it's a hard trash program. It's not trace or anything like that. It's a straight up trash program that you can put in front of a Batty on R&D or HQ, and cause genuine problems. Yeah, okay. So Andy seems happy just to check anything that goes down in a remote. I think that's reasonable. He's got the money advantage. Now
and
Sam
he didn't shuffle in the Lizzie Mills. He chose to shuffle in with the Batty and the Restructure. Because Lizzie Mills is probably just a dead card in this matchup.
Yeah,
I can't see why you'd leave her back in the deck.
I'm not sure. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I guess I can't think of necessarily good use of it. I mean, he's got the
only thing that Lizzie Mills could trash would be the Citadel Sanctuary, because that's a location.
It is a location, that's true, yeah. And I mean, you can also use it to remove bad pub, but Neil probably doesn't care. He doesn't think it's going to be abused.
No.
I mean, if he's going to be using traces and stuff like that, he's already going to lose that kind of economic battle. Yeah, I wonder if Neil's line here should be quite an aggressive rush strategy. Like you say, throwing down Curtmore's not great though, it being so expensive. But in front of an Oak Town, interesting. Okay, so he's put the Grim on Archives and confidence for an OAI on Curtmore. Okay, all right, that's interesting. So he's worried about. So what strategy would Andy have to very quickly break a Curtmore? It'd have to be. You could use Paperclip, I guess. That's
install the Mongoose and run, because Curtmore will only cost you 5 credits to break.
Yeah, so it's only 5 to. Yeah, that's true. It would have been 9 before. So okay, he's taken that hit, but he's confident that Andy's not going to go after it. He may still.
Yeah, install Mongoose and run.
I think you do, because there's not going to be a code gate you're particularly worried about in this deck. So I don't think there's any risk from Sam's point of view. There's a question about if he does that straight away. I mean, he puts tech testing on Archives, so that shows intent. He's special orders for Peregrine.
Well, yeah, he can do it all, really.
So he's going to do it on click 4, okay. So he's going to hit on click 4. He's got 12 credits, which is almost certainly enough to break this outside piece of ice and obviously the curtain wall as well.
Right, 5, 4. So he'll cost him 10 credits for this run.
Yeah, I think Neil probably still does res this just for the tax, because he's probably going to leave it there for a few turns, and it'll just make Temujin not as profitable, sex testing not as profitable.
Yeah.
So it's strength 5, so it is 4 to boost 1 to break. Yeah, it's 5 to break with Mongoose. It's not great. Okay, so he's going to break and trash the curtain wall. So that's 14 credits down the drain, as far as Neil's concerned. Not down the drain, but he would have liked that.
Bounce the Grim back.
He did take the Grim back. I wonder if he puts it back down anyway. He might have considered that he might draw a restructure. I think he doesn't care about bad publicity, although he needs to be careful. He doesn't want to go too far. Even the Swordsman's not great either. What's that? 3 to break? It's only 3 to break with the Mongoose because it breaks 2 subs for 1 credit, of course. Yeah, I feel like he's gonna. I guess the Temujin's got on the sec testing. Okay, he's gonna put. He's gonna ice archives. I think just to keep the sec testing honest. Siphon, yeah. I don't know what stage he ices, but it was a Lotus, wasn't it? Okay, so it's not a great res. I guess you do, yeah.
Your money's invested in Lotus Field in case something goes wrong. It's not always a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, and that's true. Yeah, that's true. And he's not super rich. It's not a particularly heavy tax, but yeah, I wonder as maybe it's crazy. As Sam there, do you consider using the Peregrine to de-res the Lotus Field? I mean, you're about to get a whole bunch of siphon money.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Blue Sun, you get in a certain mindset of Blue Sun thinking that when your ice is resed, it's all okay. And
yeah, against Blue Sun even more.
Get shut down, emergency shutdown, or de-resed somehow.
That's it. I mean, you play a lot of criminal, same as me. Emergency shutdown against Blue Sun is just so good.
Oh yeah,
it just especially
if you manage to shut down a curtain wall that's been oversighted, because it will keep the oversight as a hosted condition. So you'd have to pay 14 to rest again.
It's only 5 credits, kind of air quotes, but that's important, you know, when Neil's only on 6, because he probably picks this up now, just in case he draws a restructure or needs some money to rest something else.
Do you use best defense to get rid of security testing?
I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily making a lot of money for Sam, unless Neil's going to go wide out nowhere, which he also isn't. I think sec testing is not particularly high value. If you think there's going to be a siphon at some point, it might be good to kill something. I don't know.
I don't think Sam would float tags though. I think he's clear these tags.
Well, he might. He may float tags because he will know. These guys play together a lot. He'll know that this is be a vegan Blue Sun. Neil never plays murder out of Wayland, which is crazy to me, but you know that's fine.
I force all murder in Wayland decks coming from Aldershot.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah, that's true. And it's the thing is, it's not even the best faction for anymore, is it?
No, that's kind of...
We'll weep for Wayland.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, he may feel safe floating these tags. He doesn't. As it happens, he's going to clear the tags.
So if you're not going to hit security testing with best defense, what are you saving best defense for?
Maybe it's the same old thing, that kind of thing. If he's worried about same old siphon, or
I can't remember the last time I was same old siphon.
Yeah, I don't know. He might be keeping it around in case there might be a more obvious target. I don't think sec testing is a particularly high value target at this point for it, because there's no open servers. Well, there is currently, but I imagine by the end of this turn there won't be. Yeah. So now that was a curtain wall. I think went down HQ. Okay, that's interesting. So that'll be a lot tougher to siphon through, and it looks like he moved the low tool onto the remote, which isn't particularly safe if he's going to try and put an agenda behind it. And here comes the medium. Okay, so this medium, obviously, medium is a good card, Dave. I don't know if you knew this. It turns out it wins a lot of games.
Yeah, it does, especially when you have 3 of them installed.
Well, yeah. Orion, oof. Okay, so what are the numbers for this? Let's see. It looks Paperclip's going to be the most efficient because it's just so good. Only 7.
Yeah.
7 to break. I mean, that's a lot of money, but for a 15 res, you know, Paperclip's just so good.
Or would you use Peregrine and then you can de-res it? How much would Peregrine have cost?
Okay. Well, all right. Let's consider that. So it's 3 to boost 3. So that's is it 6, 7? Oh, sorry, it's got 3 subs, right? Yeah, 8, 9. So there's 9 credits, and you got to pick it up. Yeah. Maybe. No,
but
I mean,
that is a lot of money that you're denying as well.
Exactly, for a 15 res. Yeah, maybe you do. So he's got the Nexus though, so that Orion's not really a concern anymore. That means he'll be able to get an Atlas off of R&D. He's going to be able to run now. Obviously, Nexus is once a turn, so I imagine we're going to see an R&D run basically every turn from Sam now for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how Neil feels here. It is 2 to 2. he's not in a position to start scoring more agendas. The only two he's scored are hostiles, which he can obviously score straight out of hand. He's not in a. He doesn't have a remote he can call
It's
defensible.
going to be hard for Neil to build a remote now that security nexus, the rabbit holes, and the possibility of an inside job. So in order to guarantee him keeping out, you'd need at least 3 ice.
He's 3 ice, and they all need to be massive, or at least the inside 2 need to be massive. And even then, he's got a full rig. Sam does only have 8 credits.
That is the benefit of the Marcus Batty. You could still do it with you need 3 pieces of ice even with and the Batty really to keep them out.
Let's also not forget that since Neil does have the credit advantage, he can maybe force through Nexus Trace if he's desperate. If he can force an end the run on a piece of ice and Sam can't run again with regular breakers, then he can rush something out, maybe Oaktown. But he needs to have the credit advantage, and so even now it's turned around again. Taking another bad publicity as well. Oof.
Yeah. Is that 4 bad publicity? I think he's on now.
Yeah, he's up to 4. So I mean that's huge, right? I mean 4 credits for every run is just massive. So he's going to struggle to tax Sam out of any server. So his only hope now is to lock him out. Maybe now the plan is to draw for a Batty, stick it on R&D, and just fire it on Grim and hope he can wipe out the rig. There'll be no recursion to speak of in this criminal deck, so it'll be backup breakers.
I'd expect a passport. I don't think I'd expect a backup mongoose.
So in fact, it's Sam that sees the Batty on R&D and obviously trashes it, so that's not great. What's in the bin? We've got just the 1 Batty. I don't know how many. Oh wait, I can
There's 2 Batties
check.
in the deck.
2 Batties, yeah, okay. Thank you, Dave.
And there is, I believe, an executive search firm to find the Batties.
That's true. Yeah, okay, all right. So how does that work? He's got Jackson, so he can draw for the executive search firm, then use the Jackson. Okay, all right. I feel like
No. He's got interns as well to interns the Batty outs.
Intern, right? Okay, hold on. Let me just immediately put the kibosh on any intern talk. We know that all it's good for is installing defensive upgrades from archives. That's all it's good for. We can leave it at that. We are going to see a leg work on R&D. He's almost certainly going to hit this Oaktown.
I miss Ben. He was much happier about interns chat.
Interns is a good card and it has many uses. But its use in this case would be to install the defensive upgrade from archives. Yeah. Okay. Someone in the remote. Okay, so he's just running for sec testing money. This is rubbing salt in the wounds now.
The best defense has just been sitting in his hand, not really doing much.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I'm coming around to the idea now. I mean, I'm not sure.
I think I'm there from having to play David Sayre too much, who will take any opportunity to deny me having any money or fun really while I'm playing Netrunner.
Yeah, he does that. All right, so Neil's going to aggressively draw. He does get an agenda. He also gets a Lotus Field. Was that what he was looking for? I don't know really.
I think you're looking for a Batty or an intern to try and score out of, really.
So Sam's rigged up but has no money. So I guess maybe you want to try and prevent him making money. So actually, maybe this is it. Maybe you do best defense the seg testing just to prevent that incremental gain over several turns.
I mean, the sec testing isn't just making money; it's forcing the corp to res the ice to stop the money. Well, okay, irrelevant.
Wow, all right. Well, never mind.
Good card.
Medium, it turns out, is a good card, and it does win many games. Commiserations. I mean, here's the thing: I wanted both of these guys to win because these are the 2 guys that have a not entirely Anarch and MBN. Sadly, one of them had to go out, and in this case, it's Neil. So commiserations to Neil, who lost to MBN, who lost to Medium. I don't know. He didn't really. I feel like he didn't get set up. There was a bit of a kind of struggle to start, and he was under strong pressure from the. Yeah,
it's always upsetting when you have to use Jackson to fix your hand on your first turn.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and obviously, Sam's Andy had a decent setup. He was able to get the rig down fairly quickly, and he had a decent income of money. Not a lot, but he had the early Temujin, which set him up. And then then he had the rabbit hole, which he was able to get out. Contrary to the last time we saw him, where it kind of gummed up his hand. And with the Nexus, the Nexus is a full rig, and even a modest amount of money, you can pressure any server, especially if Neil hasn't got the kind of momentum to get more than 2 ice on any server.
I mean, the game ended the same way that most netrunners have recently. Medium installed plow R&D a few times.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's always the way. All right.
Yeah, it did feel like. Yep. Hi.
Oh, hi,
yeah. Yeah, just my 2 pence on the game. It felt like Vapor was forced to play the cards that he drew, was forced to play it into his hand, which was 2 hostiles and a Grim, and giving back pub is never good to the runner. As you said, there were some really remarkably interesting plays he could have made. He could have, Sam rather, he could have used Peregrine to derez. Ooh, that Orion, that would have been really cute. That would have been fantastic. But yeah, ultimately, he didn't see his 3 Christians, which was such a bummer. I think his deck stood a chance if he actually got a decent draw with oversights and stuff.
Sad to see the non-yellow deck knocked out at this point.
Well, yeah, and knocked out by a red card of all things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, even the one Anarch deck is going to win with Anarch cards, right? That's just the way.
Guys, it won most for a reason.
It did. It did. Yeah.
Yep. So thanks again, Jono and Dave, for your commentary this game.
Pleasure.
Pleasure. Yeah.
Yep, and we'll be rotating casters. Chris Dyer, our reigning world champion, is going to be up next for the grand finals game with Jono. Stay tuned.
He's pretty good.
Pretty good, I heard. Yep. Till then, see you around. Alright, hi everyone. Welcome back to our stream. We have the grand finals coming up in just a moment, but first we'll do an introduction of the two players who made it to the grand finals. This Stimhack League, UK Stimhack League number 2. A new champion will be born soon. In the winners bracket, we have. Oh, actually, before I introduce the players, I should introduce our commentators. We have with us of Neo Reading Great Frame, Jono.
Hello, how's it going, Ben?
Yep, doing good. And we have our reigning world champion, Chris Dyer. Hello.
Hi, Ben.
This is
Alright.
quite an intimidating two people to be talking with, I've got to say.
Yes, I'm sure the viewers appreciate it. So let's begin with Theo, our winners. Coming from the winners bracket, all he needs to win is one of the next 2 games. He's from London, and he doesn't have a lot of achievements to his name. Only started very recently. Only did 4th place at Nats. Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
And he could have done better.
I mean, I was saying that he didn't make it to World. So for all you non-Brits watching, Theo is a very ferocious player. Fearsome. And if he had made it to Worlds, he probably have been world champion, right, Chris? He outlasted you. He outlasted me at Nets.
I don't think I've ever beaten Theo.
There
So
you
He's
go.
obviously better than me, yeah.
That's quite a claim, yeah.
Yeah. So his skill in Netrunner is only counterbalanced by his clumsiness with cards in his deck. It's a running joke. Let's not get into it too much. Poor guy. All right.
Sad
Facing facing up against him is Sam from the lower bracket from Coventry. He's a very innovative deck builder, coming up with a lot of cool decks, and I think he has made Netrunner DB deck of the week a couple times with his very cool decks.
He's a crazy deck builder. The guy builds some phenomenal decks, but really interesting ones as well. So it's really interesting to see the stuff he comes up with. I know that he's had success recently, like you say, with some deck of the weeks. Yeah, you can always rely on him.
All right, Chris, can you speak to the mic for a bit? We think you might be a bit soft.
Okay. Sorry, I still got a sore throat as well. I'm still ill from Worlds, you know. Yes, Sam's decks, he usually plays Shaper, but they're always designed to be, much like you, Ben, they're always designed to beat the best deck in the meta, so we test quite extensively. I've never ever seen him play a standard deck in his entire life. So,
And well, credit to him, he's been doing pretty well with that.
yeah, and that was the second point. Despite or because of that, he always places very consistently. He's very, very solid player. His decks are always very strong and well placed in the meta. He's very hard to beat.
Right. Yeah. Your volume is good now. Hopefully you can keep that up for the next 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So let's talk about the matchup. By the way, fun fact, guys. Of all the games we've played so far, every single game was won by a runner. Yes.
And with
We-
medium, I believe.
Sorry.
With medium also, I think every win's been a medium win.
Yeah.
It's a good card.
Apparently
That's
it
a
is.
trend that I've noticed since Worlds, though. I think runners are winning a lot more games than Corps at the moment, almost because the Corp meta is very yellow, and you can beat almost all yellow decks with a couple of different builds. So the Siphon heavy builds are quite good. The Link heavy builds are quite good against all yellow decks. So most of the games that I've played and seen since Worlds, runners are on top.
Yeah, which is a pity because I thought Vapor's Blue Sound was pretty well positioned against all the Siphon decks, but turns out he just hasn't been drawing very well. But getting into this game, we have Sam playing Andromeda. This is Power Tap Andromeda with Rabbit Holes and Nexus versus Theo, who is running standard CTM. Any thoughts on this matchup?
I
That's
think
interesting.
Sam is massively favoured. A lot depends on how fast Sam can set up, but as long as Sam can get his link up quickly enough, and as long as he can get power taps down, then I think it's very hard to stop him if Theo gets to that point without some points scored. Theo will have to do as much as he can to disrupt Sam while he's setting up, and that means trying to get a tag to stick through Citadel Sanctuary so he can trash some resources. It means potentially using breaking news to slow down some economy at some point for closed accounts, but Theo's got to go quicker than you are normally reliant on for criminal versus CTM.
That's true. I mean, given there's so much Tracer Ice in that deck, I feel like Power Tap's going to be a pretty key card. This is a runner deck that's designed to play very well against CTM, right? I mean, it's built for this kind of matchup. So
Yeah,
I'd assume also that Sam's going to know what he's doing with it.
I think it actually struggles in most. So this list is so heavily tacked against yellow. So all its economy is well, apart from Temujin, obviously, but most of its economy comes from dripping off power tap, and it's got so many cards specifically for the yellow matchup, which means it's a bit risky in a wider matchup. Although it's got Nexus, which is always against Glacier, you've got at least a big chunk of your deck that's no use against a lot of corpse, but against yellow decks, it's really, really strong because all your cards are good, and they're really good.
Yeah, and you of course have the medium to close out the game when it comes down to it. So
Yep, the only way to win a run game.
It's true.
Right. On the flip side, we have Theo playing Hate Bear, Siphon Wizard with Obelisk versus Sam's Soul deck. So this is actually going to be quite interesting. I don't think the Soul deck holds up very well. They did have this matchup earlier and Soul lost, I believe.
Yeah, so the interesting point is that targeted marketing potentially turns off Siphon, which means that part of what Hate Bear wants to do, which is oppress your economy while it sets up, it can't do. So that might change how the matchup goes. I didn't watch the early one because I was driving through Southern England, but I don't know if Sam found a targeted marketing or not. But if you do or don't, it changes the matchup quite a lot.
Yeah, so he did.
I think it's quite late, wasn't it?
Sorry.
Well, you were watching it, Ben, so you'll know. I think it was quite late, the targeted marketing you found.
Yeah, he found the scarcity of resources first, which obviously doesn't do much against the Siphon Wizard.
No, virtually nothing.
Yeah, and even when he does find it, Theo does run Rumor Mill, so that potentially leads to a play where he just plays Rumor Mill and Siphon, and there's not much the court can do about it.
No, literally nothing. The other point is that Use Hound, which is 50% of the reason to play a Soul deck is from Use Hound, isn't at its best against Hate Bear because they have a lot of cards and they've got Faust. So it's usually a hard gear check for Anap because Mimic struggles to break it, but that's not the case for Hate Bear.
Yep, that's quite true. Jono and Chris, would you like to join the game? We are about to begin soon.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea, isn't it? All right, okay.
Just make up a password.
Is that you typing, Chris?
Yes.
Welcome to the 1980s.
I'm not even at the 1980s. I still send telegrams.
It's okay. Still better than Seamus. Shout out to Seamus!
He's much better dressed though.
Well, yeah, no one can take that away from him. Ever. Alright, so we are going to get into this game. It's Nexus Andy versus CTM. Jono and Chris, take it away.
Well, Sam was very keen.
Yeah.
So Theo's got an instant mulligan.
Yeah, I didn't even see what it was, but he mulliganed it pretty quick, so it must have been bad.
And so has Sam, I think.
Yeah, that's not.
So 2 rabbit holes.
Right. Yeah, that is a pain. I mean, so you got a cast, you got a dirty laundry.
No, he's kept it. No, Sam's kept his hand.
He can probably play around. He can play 2 rabbit holes, I guess. I mean, he can play around
Yeah.
it a bit. He's got a couple of dirty laundries if he wants to get money up and a daily cast. So he's, I don't know, he's kind of ready.
So Theo's opening hand is pretty good. He's got he's missing the Sensi, which is the card you most want to see turn 1. But Pad Campaign is really good against Andy because it's much harder to trash than Commercial Bankers Group. Turn Pocket HQ will be good until rabbit holes get set up, and even then it's still slightly effective. So
It's still kind of taxing, and it's trace 5 as well. So
yeah, the difficulty
not
comes
nothing.
when you can use Power Tap to actually make money off it, even through the
Oh
minus
yes,
one.
of course, yes. Okay.
But that's a late game issue.
Is installing Power Tap a priority for Sam in this game, since he knows that like 90% of guys will have a trace?
You actually want Theo to match resistance first a lot of the time. I'm not sure that's going to happen now, because
Yeah, maybe not.
as soon as you get to 4 link, you know that you know that he's not going to res the resistors, and then you can't get the free money off them.
So he checks the pad and doesn't trash it. He also only installed 2 rabbit holes, so he's content to leave that 3rd one in hand for now.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if he will install it. I guess he will eventually.
he will have to. Yeah, that's a tell to Theo that the 3rd one is
It's not
hand.
gonna- Yeah, it is. Yeah, I agree. There's no reason not to install it there for no click. So a couple more assets out now. So CTM is going to get a bit of momentum from getting this stuff out.
If it can stick the Sensi, which almost certainly can't, Sam is smart enough that he's exactly. He's going to go and trash the Sensi before Theo gets any benefit from it.
And the trace is blank, right? I mean, you don't boost this as Theo. There's no reason.
So
You could make it land, but
because of power tap, you almost certainly don't even fire it.
oh, that's true. Yes, you don't even fire it, of course, because the power tap did go down. Okay, so that's interesting, and that means that Sam now is in a position where he can probably trash an asset and top deck a GFI. He can probably trash an asset every turn, so he can try and stay on top of.
Can if he can afford it. So again, the difference is he's got the only long-term economy he got is that cast and that power tap. His hand isn't great at the moment. Well, it's really bad in fact. You don't actually need breakers as Nexus Andy against CTM. You just need long-term economy and pressure.
Yeah, that's fair.
Spec testing will help.
Okay, so does that mean that Sam can be quite confident to run with no Rick? He can even leave those special orders and just. The thing is, what he wants to draw is economy. He does have the sec testing and daily cast. That's going to help for now, but he's not going to make a lot of money. He needs to. I think he does need to start drawing for economy, if nothing else.
He will need to, because at some point he will need to Nexus through a toll booth.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to have that set up and enough money to stick the Nexus trace.
And he'd like to get a Temujin as well. Meanwhile, Theo's going to start icing his remotes. This could be a rush play. I didn't see what the ice was, but if it's a Quandary or something similar, then that means that he's going to ask Sam a genuine question. Sam's not interested in checking it. And instead he's going to draw.
No.
So
If I would say, Sam will check it because there's very little that can hurt him. Theo's list actually plays 2 Quandaries, so he's quite heavy on the rush ice plan. A lot of play 1, but Theo has 2 Quandaries, so Theo obviously likes to rush behind ice early.
Yeah, a possible line, maybe a line for Sam there is he could have run the remote and find out what the ice was. He had the special order. The solution for a Quandary on a remote, of course, is Peregrine, which isn't particularly cheap. So
yeah, the other danger is that he would be in hard hitting use range if he did that.
It is a bill though, so that's probably the one that Sam's most happy with Theo scoring.
Yeah. Given that it was either B or Astro or breaking news.
Yeah,
breaking
news
news
EOI in hand.
Yeah.
So that could have turned into a GFI and been quite bad. So I guess the thing about this remote is that Sam's not confident he can get into it. He can install the Peregrine and threaten it. It won't be really expensive, but it's not great. But he would like to probably get this cast down and start hitting R&D.
Yeah, so Theo is now likely to stick another ice on top of this remote and then start jamming stuff in it, because the only way he can slow Sam down right now is to keep dragging through annoying remotes. And Cobra, UK's favourite ice, potentially very strong here, because Sam is going to have to, at some point, going to have to search for a breaker and then for the Quandary.
Yeah, that's true. And he does have all 3 special orders. So when he feels like he could just install his whole rig and not worry about it. His rig, of course, being he has Passport or Peregrine, depending on the situation. He's got Paperclip and Mongoose. He's only got 1 Mongoose. 1 Mongoose, no fear. It's very bold, but you've got Nexus, I guess.
Yeah, there's no sentries that will worry him in this deck.
So he is going to force the Jackson. I wonder if there are 4 face down cards in archives. I didn't see if any of them are agendas. It's possible one is say. I wonder if Theo uses it here. He does have another Jackson in hand. I was having to think about it.
Security testing is an archives as well, so I'd be tempted to let this go actually.
That's true, because he can't actually. I mean, he can run archives twice, but
you're just taxing clicks, and clicks is now what Andy needs to set up. Money is increasingly becoming less and less of an issue, especially if you can get a bit more economy down. If he finds he's got 1 more daily cast, but if he finds a Temujin or something, money ceases to become an issue very, very quickly in this matchup.
Okay, so he's going to use it to return a hedge, and I guess we'll find out what else. Senses, maybe. Senses are just going to get trashed. Oh, well, no.
Yeah,
it's a good card. It depends what the face down cards are, of course. Yeah, Sensi and a hidden card. Ooh, intriguing. So that could have been, say, an agenda that was kind of washed through.
I think sorry, go on, Johnny.
I was going to say, if Theo draws an agenda here, does he throw it behind the Quandary?
Yeah, I think you ice, you put the Cobra on top of the Quandary, or maybe even another Quandary on top of it, and then install. So Theo would really love a breaking news right now, but the difficulty is he's going to have to do it through an R&D lock at this point.
Yes, he does. So that leads to my other question, which is, should he consider icing R&D at some point?
Yeah,
I mean,
this quandary is going to go on R&D, I think.
yeah, or Cobra even. Wait, no, Cobra's bad right now. Well, it'll do damage, I guess, but
Yeah.
Okay, so you can use Jackson's draw. Even a Tollbooth and R&D, he can.
Yeah, so because he's drawn that hedge fund, his economy's not great, but that pad campaign is doing what it always does, which is stick on the board and tick over every single turn. So he can afford a Tollbooth, which is that's what he's iced. Now Tollbooth is very good now, but if Sam gets a Nexus, it becomes a liability because he'll have paid 8 credits for nothing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he does have another Tollbooth. Do you consider putting them both on R&D just to really tax the Nexus?
Only if he draws some more economy.
Okay, sure. I mean, yeah, okay. So next turn he could consider hedge. It depends what he draws, of course. But if he hedged into, I feel like you either put another ice on R&D or you put another ice on the remote.
Yeah. That ice on R&D is fine.
Astro,
Ooh.
interesting. Okay, so you want to score this. So maybe it's Tollbooth, hedge Tollbooth Astro in the remote or something. I'm not sure. I feel like you want to score this Astro.
He does, and he probably wants to score it as soon as possible because it will enable a breaking news EOI, and that breaking news EOI will win the game.
Absolutely, yeah. So it is Tollbooth on the remote and an Astro.
Yep.
So this is going to be really tough. Now, it can be broken with Peregrine.
He's got an info job as well, so in conjunction. But Sam is very poor, so I'm not convinced he can get this.
He can run Archives for money, special order, and install a Peregrine in the inside job. He might have the credit he needs to break it, break the quandary.
So it goes
It's
to 8.
5 to install. He'd get 2.
No, he'll have no credits. He's one short.
He gains 2 from sec test. He'll pay 2 for inside job, and he's got 6. So we'll pay him 5 to install the Peregrine. Once he use it, he's going to draw instead. I think he could have got in.
One for the special order is the credit you're forgetting.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Well, I'm embarrassed, but yes. So he drew instead. Yeah.
Of note as well, we talked about this a few turns ago. Theo popped the first Jackson and let the second one get trashed. If he'd done that the other way around, now obviously we don't know what was in archives. If he'd done that the other way around, he could have recurred that second Jackson because he could have let the first one get trashed and then fired the second one to recover whatever he recovered, and the first Jackson had just been trashed.
Yeah,
but because he's done it the other way around, his second Jackson is now in the bin.
So the Astro Safety is going to get scored, and as you say, with a GFI on the other side of the table and an EOI in hand, that's huge because that now means that Sam has to prevent Theo from drawing one of his inevitably 3 breaking news.
Yeah, so Sam is now going to. Sam will probably have to legwork, I think, just to make sure it's not in hand, or potentially he might just poke it a few times. But then he's going to have to really keep R&D on this, and that could be tricky.
He's got no way of doing it currently because he's got a bunch of blue cards in hand and they're not very good. What he needs is a medium.
Yeah, so this legwork is purely out of fear of breaking news.
Yeah, he needs to check. He's going to see the EOI. Oh, he didn't see the EOI. Interesting. He also did. So he knows there's another card left. So he knows that he can't.
He ran first. He's already seen the EOI.
Oh, I'm sorry, he did. So he's seen the whole hand. So he knows there's no breaking news, which is good. Just kept him honest. Sure. So take some net. That's probably fine. Might lose a couple of special orders. He does lose a couple of special orders.
This isn't the highest value from Cobra. It's still good because it prevents you repeatedly running.
Yeah, we've got to keep him honest. And now he can't. Oh, another GFI. Okay. Well, maybe then. As Sam here, you just need to hope that the R&D is on your side. You want to draw, get a medium, and you can't. You need a Mongoose. Mongoose is great against Cobra, it turns out.
I think he even considers inside jobbing this. No, he hasn't done.
Yeah, maybe if he doesn't draw it, if he gets the medium as well, because he wants to start getting R&D lock online, and there's breaking news. So that's kind of it, right? He's going to keep it in hand. Next turn, he's going to win. And Sam can pull it.
Third click should be ice R&D here.
He's going to ice HQ, and is that a giveaway that he's got a breaking news in hand?
Absolutely, yeah.
I didn't see what I asked it with. I guess it was a quandary. Doesn't matter, right? It's an end of run. So Sam is going to probably try and run. He does have the Peregrine. He's going to special order from Mongoose.
So the question is if Sam gets it right, which he hasn't, I don't think.
He's going to Mongoose and he's going to run R&D. So unless he gets a 3-point agenda, which won't need to be in the deck, he's going to struggle.
Well, he could just win here, which he hasn't.
No. That's a quandary and bam, okay. So that's it, right? Installs breaking news. You can advance Astro and then with the spare click, you can EOI to swap for the GFI. Take him up to 7. What a broken combo. But yellow wins again.
Look at those free cards.
I'm so bitter that The person playing the best world decks wins the UK Stimhack League. But indeed, he has well on Theo, and he's a very good player. It's a shame that he wasn't able to make it out to Worlds. Yeah, he's good. He performed well as well at. Well, he did well at Nats, but I guess we won't talk about his ultimate fate there. But he did well at BMW twice.
Impressively, Theo was on hiatus for about 6 months and then came back shortly before Nats, picked up the meta in about three seconds, and then proceeded to crush everybody in his path, apart from deck checks.
Well, he won the Reading Store Champ long ago. That's how I met him actually. And he's quite young, but he's really good. And
he's about 13, I think. I've heard.
About 13. That sounds about right.
But yeah, it's past his bedtime now. He played very well there. So he that game really got away from Sam. I think Sam's opening hand was quite marginal, and as it happened, it never developed. So we talked about whether he should keep it or not. I'm not sure he should have kept that hand, and this is obviously benefiting from hindsight. But that hand never let him exert any pressure, never let him have enough money to really search for his breakers, never had enough time or tempo. And Theo did a nice job of putting him under enough pressure to kind of delay Sam's setup.
So how could it have gone differently for Sam? I mean, he didn't get a great draw, but in an ideal world, what would he have got in a different order that would have made that go a bit smoother?
So if Sam could have contested that remote effectively, if he'd had a bit more money, because he only found, I think, one cast, one sec testing quite late. The dream is you find a Nexus. Had he found his Nexus, that remote was suddenly garbage.
Yeah, that's true. And even if you had even if the Peregrine, it meant that he could trivially get through the quandaries, check everything, cost him a credit. So that wasn't going to bother him too much.
It's worth pointing out, Sam did get to 4 points. So although that game I think felt quite one-sided on Theo's behalf, I think Theo was in control for most of it. Sam was on 4 points and didn't have a ton of accesses, so it wouldn't have taken a huge amount more for that to go completely wrong for Theo.
Yeah, I agree.
And also, he stole the GFI, not breaking news.
If you got a medium, it could have been different, right? If he had a way to start getting multiple accesses out of R&D, and it could have prevented him from drawing the breaking news. It could have gone very differently if he'd had some way of checking a couple of cards there and he's got the breaking news. That would have been huge, because it would have put him up to 5 points and it would have delayed Theo's win right there. So it meant that he just had to kind of keep R&D locked down, but he just couldn't do it.
No, he just never had time. CTM is very, very good at this. It makes you wish you had 5 clicks every turn. And Sam just couldn't use money wasn't that much of a problem. Cards weren't that much of a problem. It was clicks. He just didn't have time to do everything he wanted to do.
So, did you notice any? Now I know that you've played a lot of CTM in your time, especially very recently, of course. Did you see any key differences in that deck? You said there were more quandaries than normal.
Yeah, Theo has 2 quandaries. He's got 13 ice, which I think is standard for a kind of the UK builds seem to have converged on a relatively high ice count. Gone the days when 13 is a low ice count.
Yeah, of course.
He's only got 1 MVT, Mumbai Virtual Tour, and he's used that slot, I think, for the second pad campaign. So his econ is a little bit higher. His tag punishment is a little bit unusual in that he only has 1 exchange of information, but has 2 psychographics.
2 psychographics, that's huge, though, right?
Obviously built for the Cypher Spam decks.
Yeah. Okay. So he built a CTM deck that would face his own runner wizard, which was a hate bear, and would have coped fairly well against it.
Yes, to an extent. I mean, Quandary is garbage against hate bear because it will break it quick. But it's very strong against decks like this where finding breakers and paying for them is not trivial.
Yeah. All right. Great. Did you have any particular observations on Sam's side then? I mean, you haven't played much next to Sandy. Well, you probably have actually. You've played everything, right? But I don't know.
I've played a bit. I think this is a really good illustration of why this deck is either very strong or not quite there. Right. If it gets set up, it's almost unbeatable. Especially as CTM, because you can walk through all their ice. You can't stop them doing anything. They're making money off your ability, off your trace. You can't fire your core ability. Your game plan doesn't really work, and suddenly you're just locked completely. The flip side is it needs a ton of cards and a ton of money to get to that point.
Yeah.
And
okay.
if you can stop them, and there's 2 ways to do that. Either you can chuck out enough assets or make enough runs that they can't spend clicks doing what they want to, or potentially you can disrupt them with breaking news and get rid of their money, for example, just to set them back. If you can kind of keep them in the early phase, that's the only way to win. And Theo identified it quite correctly. You have to rush more than you normally would against some other decks.
Okay, yeah, he did go. He was quite fast. He was quite aggressive.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he very aggressively scored that Beal, which you don't normally do in CTM against a standard deck, but you have to do against this sort of deck.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. All right, we can probably.
Yes.
Ben
Yep.
might be
So
online. There we go.
yes. Yep. Thanks for thanking the stream there. Yeah, I'm trying to arrange a winners interview. I think Theo should be online now. Let's give this a go. Do, do, do. If all works well. Come on, Theo. Yes? No?
While we're waiting, Ben, maybe you can explain to me what this mystery game is. You got me on the edge of my seat.
Yes. I'll announce it to UK Slack. It's something for everyone in UK Slack to participate in.
Ah, okay, all right. I'm looking forward to it. I got no idea what it is. It is a mystery.
Theo?
I'm sure it'll be great fun. Yeah.
Hi, Theo.
Hi guys.
Awesome.
Hi, Theo.
All right. So we have with us here the champion of UK Stimhack League number 2. Theo, congratulations.
Thank you.
And Jono, I think it's time you hand the crown over to him.
Sure. Yeah, no worries. So, Theo, congratulations. I a worthy successor to my crown.
I don't know.
I'd love to ask you what inspired,
sorry,
inspired these two decks.
Sorry, before we move on to that, let's get Sam in here as well. Sam, the runner-up. By the way, are any of you okay with sharing? Nah, never mind. We won't do that. If you are okay with sharing your webcams, I can have it on.
Yeah.
I guess mine's on, is it? I actually don't know. It probably is.
All right,
Cool.
Theo, I can see you. That's pretty good. Hi,
It's
Sam.
Theo. All right.
Oh no, Sam's not here yet. Okay,
Hello.
Sam. Hi, Sam.
Oh, hello.
All right. So for everyone who are just tuning in, we are gonna have our players interview right now. With us is Jono of New Reading Grid Frame. Hi, Jono.
Hello, Ben.
Chris Dyer, current reigning world champion,
Hi, Ben.
and that's Theo. Hi, Theo.
Hi.
And Sam, who is our
Yeah.
runner-up. All right. So Jono, you were asking a question. Fire away.
I wanted to know how Theo's inspired to build those two decks. They're quite new. I haven't seen them before. I just wondered what gave him the inspiration.
Well, I actually thought quite hard about what I was going to play at this event. I was almost going to play Chris's exact list from Worlds, and then I decided to play Siphon at the last minute, which turned out to be a bad idea because everyone was playing Swordsman. But yeah, no, I was trying out a couple of interesting things. I don't know if you guys were talking about the deck list on stream and stuff, but I was trying Wonton in the Siphon ways.
That was quite interesting. I didn't see you play it, although I saw you draw it a couple of times and pitch it to Faust.
Yeah.
I wonder what in particular you were intending to use that. In what situation you were going to use it.
It's mostly like those situations where you know that they're flooded, but you can't do anything about it. Especially against CTM, where they have 2 pop-ups on HQ and horde agendas in their hand for the entire game. And yeah, to get the EOI and the psychographics and kill pieces and stuff. Timmy was running Imp in his list of Worlds, but I don't think that's I think I prefer the one time, but I haven't really used it that much, and yeah, it did end up getting pitched a lot.
It's very
make
strong
any-
theoretically in that kind of matchup where the one we've just seen where Sam knows EOI's in hand but can't do anything about it. Wonton effectively lets you disrupt that tag punishment.
Yeah, because the way that you win is, either with the huge psycho or more commonly with, you psycho Beal, you EOI breaking, you score breaking news, EOI it for the food, and then psycho out the 4-point Beal. So then if you can get the EOI or the psycho out of hand before they can do that, because I found a lot of the time that matchup just comes down to if they do find the psycho, then there's not a lot you can do about it because you can't run the hand a bunch of times for the Beal, and you can't really like keep tightening them because if they're on 1 credit, they can just go sweeps, install Psycho if you've got a lot of cards in hand.
Yep.
So it's hard to keep them off that for multiple turns in a row. Fortunately, sometimes you can just race them with medium, but I wanted to see if I could do something to. Also, I just like love cutting Plascrete when you shouldn't do it.
Well, it was
So
the
you
right
came out-
choice.
Go on, Ben.
Yeah, that was the right choice. No one brought kill today. So,
Yeah.
lucky for you. Jono, you
That's
were
what-
saying?
I was just going to say, so you won through the winners bracket as well, right? So you didn't drop a game today. So is that
not
right?
For lack of trying.
That's true. Oh, that's right. So now I was only half watching, but I know in your early games, Ben had some observations about some of your early decisions. I'll let him ask.
Yeah, what was with that blue? Was it the Blue Sun game? Yeah.
Thi-
I actually can't really.
So at one point I played I've Had Worse before I played Sure Gamble. That was just bad.
Okay, but okay, there was this game where you pitched Mimic. Even though there was a
Oh.
Cobra on R&D. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that was because I did think about that a lot because
Yeah,
obviously I
on
had to
stream,
kill the curtain wall.
everyone was coming up with different ways you could kill the curtain wall. Rebirth into Quetzal and use your 2 David counters. And play your second David, and
Big into your hand. to
all you
mouse
did
rather
was
than op-
bin your entire hand to Faust, and like, oh, you
So
have
I
not many
thought
cards left. Yeah.
I thought about it a lot, and I'd like to look at it again because I'm not completely sure that I did come up with the right line. But the way I thought about it was that so I didn't actually think about Rebirth into Quetzal before I did Hades Shard. I did it afterwards, but by that time it was a bit too late. I really didn't want to Rebirth into Quetzal because you want to beat Omar in that matchup really badly because and Sam can probably Sam knows it's probably better than I do, but it's really hard to keep.
I'd like to bring Sam in now, actually.
I mean, I can talk about the Rig Shooter Blue Sun matchup, and it's pretty easy in that matchup to keep 3 servers locked down, and you lock off archives by just putting a CVS in there to purge like counters for if they're using Data Sucker to get through your bigger ice. Obviously, that's not relevant in the Faust matchup, but in general, that's how you lock it off. Omar obviously negates that because now every so often he can just decide he's going to make a run on R&D via archives. Locking off 4 servers as Rig Shooter, that's tough. So yeah, Omar is definitely the right call. So I guess the situation was you could have used Quetzal to kill a curtain wall, but you wanted to keep Rebirth into Omar instead. Is that
But like
I think
it was a situation which did cost me quite a lot because I had to Faust through the curtain wall and use my Hades Shard. But after I used my Hades Shard, I hit the second David, and I thought about playing it, but I think it would only have saved me like 2 cards because I would have had to chuck the rest of my hand anyway because I didn't have any tags. I think
the other thing interesting was that how you managed to find a nice balance of tags. 2 tags seemed like just fine. If you went for another Siphon, the best defense could have gotten your balance. Found that quite interesting. But yeah, that was
mostly it was just that I didn't get that many good like Siphon opportunities during the game, honestly. But
that's quite true. Yeah.
2 tags was good. I was wondering because like I wonder if you would like. Maybe you could just stick a random boom in that deck, like, because you have Consulting Visit, right? So you could just choose for against attack.
So
that's
Vapor,
probably bad. Like you have too much situational stuff.
Yeah, Vapor's deck runs 3 Chrysium Grids. I'm not sure if you were aware of that, but it was really hating on Siphon a lot, knowing that that's one of the weakness points, and he just didn't draw enough, I guess.
Yeah, there was one where I trashed one out of R&D, and I was like,
yeah,
okay. And then he just pulled another one. I was like, oh.
Yep. All right. Yeah.
3 crits is probably a bit too much, I think. It's really expensive.
I think it was a meta call and it was the right one. A lot of you were on Siphon decks and let's turn the attention over to Sam, who has the slightly more interesting decks. It's a bit of pity because you only got to play your Soul deck once. We didn't manage to make this a game 2. I want to hear your thoughts behind that Soul deck. I'll bring it up shortly, but talk us
So
through.
the original thought was I was trying to think of an NBN deck, because basically the NBN agenda suite is strong enough to make it worth playing NBN alone. Just EOI for foods in general is extremely strong in a meta where Anarch is tagging themselves. But then I was like, but then that matchup dies really to a Nexus Andy. So what can I do to hate that? Or Nexus anything really. And the Nexus deck is entirely based around their resources. They need so many resources in play to get that set up, whether it's Temujin's daily casts, power taps. Usually Kate will go fan sites to get stuff out. If you can make all of those resources cost 2 more with scarcity, that's pretty good. So I thought, okay, so I want a soul deck so I can keep scarcity in play. But then when against the Siphon matchup, I was thinking, actually, you want target marketing, name Siphon, and then you've got inbuilt Siphon protection. So I put 2 and 2, and the idea was that if I draw the right one against the right matchup, then I'm probably sorted.
Yeah, so
Sadly, against Theo, I got the scarcity well before I got the target marketing, but it actually worked out okay because you ended up having to install a same old thing to get a deja vu because you had lost all 3 of your Fausts.
Yeah, I lost my first Faust to the swordsman and I injected into 2 more Fausts.
Yeah, we.
So
I think when we saw that swordsman in Sam's list, I think we looked at all the run lists and went, that swordsman could be amazing.
And my huge mistake in that matchup was naming Siphon with the target marketing when I finally got it. I was on 3 credits. I had a CVS in the HQ, so I can just deny the Siphon anyway if I want to. And you'd have to run through the swordsman anyway to get in. So I should have just looked at your heap and gone, I haven't seen the Forked yet, and name Forked. And then if you and if you played Forked, I then have the money to res the little engine that was on R&D.
Yeah, we were discussing that on stream,
yeah.
but yeah, I think that would have been the right play.
I was just sitting there with the target marketing when we've got that little box up, and you're just sitting looking at the little box going, what do I type in here? I have no idea.
The other thing I wanted to ask you was the play you made, which was putting CVS on HQ. Now, you know he runs medium. It probably works better on R&D. Were there any thoughts of
I
pretending
disagree.
it
I
was
think you want it on HQ. You want it on the server that they're least likely to run because you want control over when you're going to trigger it. I'm generally, I've got enough money. Obviously, I didn't in that case. But if I put the CVS on R&D and Theo runs R&D, if he doesn't see anything in the first few medium digs, I don't want to trigger the CVS. Then I want to wait. And only when I can get the maximum value out of it by denying as many accesses as possible. So I triggered it after he had trashed a Jackson and stolen an agenda. So he's getting 2 more cards because he got 2 cards out of R&D and 2 more cards because of the 2 mediums, and that got maximum value of the CVS. I couldn't have done that if it had been on R&D, or I couldn't have guaranteed it.
Yeah. Richard and I felt that was your downfall because you spent 3 credits to res the CVS, which prevented you from resing the data ward, if I remember correctly. That was on R&D.
It was in data ward. It was a little engine. So yeah, that might have saved me, but yeah, I think the target marketing on Siphon was the bigger misplay.
Yep, fair enough.
Well, I think I outdid you in misplays in that game. So. I saw the EOI on top, and I somehow got it into my head that like breaking news EOI was game.
But it would have been if you'd stolen any of the foods.
Yeah.
Yeah, Theo, you made that game a lot closer than it should have been. That was something.
It was kind of panic. I also think that the other interesting thing about that game was I was thinking about whether to, on the very last click, whether or not to run HQ.
I mean, I had the 1 news in hand, so you had a 1 in 3.
Yeah, because I thought because obviously, like, if I think you definitely have the 1 news in hand, and you wouldn't have done the play that you did the turn before.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if I could win, but obviously not.
Yeah,
I think I needed a credit.
I think it was right regardless because he's not gonna win the next turn, right? Yeah, he had Sansan, so he could score it next turn. He was winning next turn.
Yeah,
I think
you could go like even if I siphoned you, you could go credit. Install advance.
Yeah, because you're R&D locked, I think going for HQ was the right play. Even though you get purged, I guess. Yeah. But
I would have had to like take an Archangel hit and hit the swordsman.
Yeah,
so
that's
it would have been
rough.
pretty bad. Like
it would, yeah. But I'm not sure how much
you're
late game
probably
you had.
right.
Yeah. I mean, you were
But like if I think he definitely has the breaking news in hand, then that's 1 in 3 to win, which is better than my chances on R&D. So
possibly, yeah.
yeah.
There was 2
Right.
agendas
It's not-
left at the time you ran R&D, so it's and
Yeah,
there was what,
there were
about
3
eight
There were
cards
foods.
left at
like
that point.
8 cards or something, 8 new cards, of which
Yeah.
you'd see two of them. So it was something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It was close. I think it was comparable odds either way.
yeah.
I really like what you said, Sam, about finding a yellow deck that can beat Nexus decks. Because that's been
It's tough.
my.
But you know,
Uh,
I've been winning with it against lots of Nexus decks. If I get scarcity early, and it used to be 3 scarcity, but I cut it down for this because I was reasonably sure most people were going to be on Anarch. And yeah, I think scarcity is the key. I think in
I made
stopping
the
that.
concession to Nexus of putting an extra quandary in my CM list, and that paid off.
It did definitely pay off.
I got pretty lucky in our game, but
Okay, some competitive questions, particularly for Theo and Chris. What do you think of Data Ward in CTM?
I think it's good, but not good enough to play 2 of. I think potentially you drop a toll booth for 1 and have 1 toll booth, 1 data ward, but it's not clear cut. So too much. A lot of the time, you really want to score behind a toll booth, and you're relying on that credit tax and then the end the run. Whereas data ward doesn't do that. If you really need it to, what it is better at is taxing them out. So if they're poor already, data ward is cripplingly punishing because you take a tag and then bounce from end the run. Whereas toll booth does nothing in that situation. So they both do different jobs. CTM is already so tight on slots that I don't think you can afford to cut anything else other than 1 toll booth for 1 data ward. But I wouldn't go any further than that.
Yeah. Theo, were you running
Yeah.
any today?
no, I wasn't. I think it really depends on. So I was really high on Data War when I first came, but after I played with it for a while, I kind of realized that. So it really depends on like the kind of game that you're playing, because if you like the problem with Data Ward is that you can't really. It's hard to put it on the remote because like it's not very good in like a tempo game where like. If you pay 6 to Reza on R&D, then they only have to spend 3. Then you might as well just put a turnpike there, and that would if in the sort of first few turns of the game, that would be much better because like if you're trying to push behind a Sansan and you have to pay 6 for your data wall, then you're not going to be able to afford your Sansan and stuff like that. But what it is good for is like making sure that like if you put it on R&D, then your R&D is going to be taxing forever. And particularly like it means that they can never really go win by going tag me, which is a big deal. But unfortunately, because it's actually back so far in tempo, paying that 6,
it is
like it sometimes lets the really efficient Temujin wizard decks like that 6. It turns out is enough. It's that extra 1 turn of clicking for credits that like sets you back enough that they can kind of get on top of you and trash your assets, and then you can kind of get stalled out because in CTM you kind of want to accomplish as much in the early phase of the game where like you're putting so much pressure on their resources and they can't do everything at once, and Data Ward is kind of like a slower card.
It also requires you to have a different ice suite, so you really want Data Ravens if you're playing Data Ward, and I really dislike Data Raven by itself in CTM.
Yeah, snack for the win.
So my feeling on it, even though I don't play CTM anymore, is that Data Ward is fantastic on R&D in the late game when the runner goes, okay, I'm probably going to lose, so I'm just going to medium dig here. And there's basically no ice in CTM that really stops that if you have a determined runner, because if they've got cutlery, which they usually save to try and blow up the ice on R&D to go for a big R&D play and win even through tags, you cannot cutlery through a Data Ward unless you're really rich, and you can afford to do it with a paper clip or something.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen so many CTM games lose to just R&D access that I think while it doesn't really fit anywhere else, it's probably the best ice to put on R&D. And maybe you don't even res it until the late game when they've accepted the tags and they
I,
realise.
I think that's definitely true. I think the only point is that you're less likely to get to that point where you're forcing them to make a Hail Mary medium dig run because your ice suite now is tilted more towards the late game and less towards rushing early.
Yeah, right. So what you want to be able to do is like put a data ward on R&D, say, which says you can never go tag me, and then put a Raven on the remote, which says you can never run the remote every turn and not go tag me, and then kind of push them in that kind of situation. But the problem with a lot of that stuff is like the difference between having that toll booth is so much more flexible because it means you can like quite a lot of the time you don't want your first couple of ice to go on R&D, and in the early game when you only have a couple of ice you want to be able to have that flexibility to really push on the remote. And so yeah, it's kind of tough because it is a really good card, and certainly I'd be very surprised if we didn't see it a lot in the future in some decks. Ben, I'd be interested to hear what you thought about data ward in your sync list.
Everyone has been asking me that. It's an annoying question because I haven't picked up the sync list since then. Gotta test it. But I think it does fit in a glacier style deck like Sam's deck. To turn the attention a bit to Jono,
Hi.
the YouTube stream has been commenting and giving you a lot of praise for that lovely rig. Nice mic.
Thanks. Thank you. Yes.
I'm more
It's,
interested in the headphones. Those put mine to shame, really.
Oh, I'm sorry. I purchased with my Patreon blood money. Sorry. So
Yeah, shout out to all the patrons for my channel and for Jono's. And since you're the only content creator, why not give a plug to your podcast? And
yeah,
go
sure. If you like the sound of my voice, and why wouldn't you? Then check me out on Dead Channel Podcast or Near Any Grids YouTube channel. But I mean, I've got to thank Ben for his incredible work that he's done with the stream all evening actually. In front of house for the first half as well, and back of house in the second half of the tournament where he was doing all the production while I just talked. And also, I guess we should thank Kathy as well. It didn't even make an appearance on the stream, but has
Thank
done
you,
incredible
Kathy.
work. Yeah,
Yes.
has done incredible work.
Yeah.
big shout out to
last
Kathy.
week
Yeah,
or
she
so.
was carrying this, doing all the admin and all the dirty work for us at the back end.
Hurting me.
Yes, Theo. And yes, also shout out to Russell Tolasin for organizing this. And I think you all will receive your Glazebrook shortly. So once again, congratulations to Theo for taking this down. Awesome, Astrobrook. There we go. And congrats to Sam on a well fought tournament.
Thank you very much.
Hi, River. Yep. The stream got to see your pet rat on my PowerPoint presentation, so that was good. Alright, and thanks, commentators, once again.
You're welcome.
Alright,
Yes, no, it's
we'll
been
now head to UK Slack for the mystery game. I'll see you all there. Alright, so everyone, for those of you who are wondering about the mystery game, it's gonna happen right now. I'm gonna announce to UK Slack. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, and are not in UK Slack, you can join in as well on my stream. So, mystery game. We are gonna have some card arts, and you're gonna guess which cards which card yeah I'm gonna show you artwork, and you have to guess the card to which it belongs. The theme for this Yep, so I'm gonna show you a bunch of animals that are featured in Netrunner card art, and guess the card. Where is it? Jeez. There we go. Let's start with number 1. Oop. Let's put it here. Dark Cannon! Yep. Alright, it is Dark Cannon. It is Natural Growth. Yep. So Yep, get an idea of the game. If you haven't noticed yet, Lateral Grove has a bunch of ducks flying around in the air, being shot up by a cannon. That's Lateral Grove for you. There we go. That's the full art. Good stuff. All right. All right. Here's number 2. All right. Yep, that is like lapdog indeed. Ah, that's not a Doge. All right. Question 3 will come up shortly. And yes, I just realized. All right, question 3. Let's see what we have here. Ah, there we go. It is Helium Alpha Test. I have a cat, and this cat does a lot of work. Everyone loves Team Cat. Come on. When you steal a Quantum Kitty for me, everyone loves it. Yeah, apparently party dances are good for channeling your inner kitties. Alright, we'll get question 4 up soon. This one should be interesting. Yep. So fun fact, there are only 3 of them that give bad pub on an unsuccessful trace, and they all feature animals. It's pretty cute. Uh, oh, great. Okay, let's move on to the next question before we get a Mr. Phones meme. Alright, question 5. This one should be quite fun. We'll see if anyone can identify this one. Yes, that was a secret test to see who loves playing degenerate decks. If you answered that quickly, you know who you are. I'm coming for you. So yeah, in case you didn't know, the Museum of History flavor text refers to the polar bear being extinct in this cyberpunk dystopian cyberpunk future. It's a bit sad, and it's also why this features in the card art. Is question 6 any harder? Oh, question 6. Okay, this one's pretty easy. Is it not extinct? So, are polar bears extinct? True or false? Please vote on your pads now. Oh gosh, here we go. Interns jokes. Alright, this one should be pretty tricky. We'll see if anyone can get this. Here goes. Wow, that was good. Nice. It's surprising. Pendler doesn't have any animals after all. What is the flavor text on Viper? Alright, that's all we have. Alright, I'll stop it here.